Man lives in a world of his own making, though he often knows it not. Every word he speaks, every thought he harbors, every picture he paints upon the canvas of his mind returns to him multiplied. Most people speak of what is missing in their lives as though lack were a faithful companion. Invited to dinner, entertained in conversation, and tucked into bed at night. And then they wonder why lack continues to visit. If you rise each morning thinking of what you do not have, and you carry that emptiness into your telephone conversations, telling your friends all that is absent, all that is delayed, all that has yet to arrive, you build a magnetic field of lack around you. You wrap yourself in the garment of not enough. And life, ever obedient to your inner decree, says, "Very well, this is your chosen garment. Wear it a little longer." For the universe answers every vibration, and it answers quickly. It does not question your worth, nor examine whether you deserve more or less. It only reflects your focus, like a mirror held up to your consciousness. Whatever you bless, blesses you. Whatever you dwell upon, dwells with you. Whatever you fear, clings to you. Whatever you claim, manifests through you. People do not attract lack because they are unlucky. They attract lack because they rehearse it. They turn it over in their minds like a stone they cannot put down. They bow before it, speak its name, and give it life. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Your word is your wand." And indeed it is. The wand that conjures heaven or summons shadows. The word you speak about your life is the decree you send forth. If you speak of emptiness, the universe, ain'tness. If you speak of delay, the universe whispers back, delay. If you murmur about all that is missing must rush to your side. Life is not personal, life is mathematical. It follows law. The law of mind, the law of vibration, the law of expectation. When you pour emotional energy onto the idea of what is missing, you fertilize the soil of lack. You water it, warm it, nourish it, and then gasp when it bears fruit. You cannot sow seeds of not enough and reap a harvest of abundance. Even your late-night thoughts, those quiet, whispered contemplations, carry tremendous power. If you fall asleep rehearsing disappointment, you invite disappointment to rise with you at dawn. The hours before sleep and the moments upon waking are potent gateways where the subconscious accepts without argument. Guard them as sacred. Guard them as you would guard a priceless jewel. For the subconscious is the workshop of God within you, and it takes your last thought of the night as a command. Many try to affirm abundance while secretly carrying an undertone of fear. They speak words of faith with trembling hearts, saying, "I desire more, but I believe in less." You cannot hold two masters. You cannot call abundance with your lips and call lack with your emotions. Your feeling is the prayer. Your emotion is the magnet. Your attention is the sculptor of your world. Even Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man can change his conditions by changing his words." But she meant words spoken with feeling, with expectancy, with the authority of a soul allied with divine law. When you focus on lack, you energize lack. When you focus on conflict, you strengthen conflict. When you focus on illness, you nourish illness. When you focus on delay, delay must obey you. For attention is energy, and energy is creative. You cannot escape this law any more than you can escape the law of gravity. Every time you say, "I don't have it. It hasn't happened yet. Nothing ever works for me," You rehearse the very reality you long to escape. The law of mind response, as you wish. And so you live inside the echo of your own vibration. The first doorway into manifestation, the first threshold into divine intention, is this: stop talking about what is missing. Stop rehearsing what is wrong. Stop repeating what you do not desire. Speak only of what you intend. Think only of what you choose. Feel only what you wish to attract. You cannot march toward your promised land while reciting the language of the desert. This is the sacred turning point. The moment the soul awakens and says, "Enough. I now choose my words deliberately. I now choose my focus consciously. I now choose my vibration intentionally." In that instant, the universe stirs. Heaven leans forward. Doors unseen begin to open. Paths yet unwalked begin to unfold. For the universe obeys the soul that has remembered its dominion. When you discipline the mind to dwell on what you intend instead of what you observe, you step into a higher law, the law of creation, not the law of reaction. You become a creator, not a reactor, a master, not a victim. And life, recognizing the authority of your new focus, rearranges itself to match your inner decree. Thus, the first great instruction is simple and divine. Do not speak of what is missing. Bless what is coming. Live in the feel of the answered prayer. For what you focus upon, you attract with certainty. When a man places all his attention on the world exactly as it appears, on circumstances, conditions, limitations, and facts, he becomes chained to those appearances. He forgets that appearances are but shadows cast by an earlier state of mind. To dwell on what is to cement it, nourish it, and keep it alive through the power of observation and emotional agreement. Most people look at their lives and say, "This is how things are." And by that simple declaration, they unknowingly decree that this is how things must remain. They do not realize they have surrendered the throne of their own consciousness to the tyranny of appearances. They do not realize that what they call reality is simply yesterday's thoughts made visible. Florence Scovel Shinn often that man must not allow the external world to hypnotize him. She said, "Never limit your view of life by what you see, for you are looking at shadows, not substance." And indeed, this is the greatest stumbling block for most seekers. They worship the shadow and forget the light that casts it. So when you place your attention on what is happening, on the lack, the illness, the delay, the disappointment, you energize it. You feed the very condition you wish to overcome. People say, "I am only facing facts," but they do not understand that facts are fluid. Facts are not laws. Facts can be dissolved, rearranged, and replaced by truth. A fact is simply a former belief that hardened. A fact is merely a thought that stayed long enough to take on shape. A fact is not destiny unless you bow to it. To free yourself from your current circumstances, you must lift your consciousness to a higher pattern. You must withdraw the life, giving fortune from what is, and place it upon what you choose to call forth. This is the beginning of true intention. This is the inner alchemy. This is the secret doorway into the unseen realm, where all things are first formed. Long ago, in ancient India, a teacher named Patanjali revealed a practice to shift the mind from the tyranny of the visible world to the freedom of the invisible. He taught a sacred discipline of inner repetition, a mantra, a holy sound, a vibrational bridge that lifts the mind above circumstances. This practice, known as japa, allows the soul to withdraw its energy from the outer world and direct it toward that which it wills to manifest. For when the mind is fixed upon the divine name, it is no longer fixed upon the difficulty. When the heart is repeating a holy sound, it is no longer echoing fear. When the inner ear is listening to the vibration of spirit, the outer world loses its power to dictate your state. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man's word is his wand, and this sacred inner sound is the highest expression of that wand. It calls the unseen forces of your own divine source into cooperation. It summons supply, healing, clarity, and direction from realms that the physical eye cannot perceive. Every desire has a spiritual prototype already waiting. Every intention has a divine counterpart prepared. But you touch it only when your attention rises above the noise of what is. By using a divine word, a holy mantra, or even a simple affirmation repeated with faith, you shift your inner atmosphere. And when the atmosphere changes, the landscape of your life must follow. This is not superstition. It is spiritual law. It is not fantasy. It is the mathematics of consciousness. For in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The word is not merely a sound spoken aloud. It is the vibrational essence behind the sound. It is the feeling, the belief, the intention wrapped within your thought. Many people look at their outer conditions, illness, financial strain, loneliness, and speak of them as though they were permanent. They rehearse their problems in advance. A sniffle becomes a week long sickness, a delay becomes a permanent block, a difficulty becomes an identity. They live in imagination, but in the wrong direction. They imagine the worst and are astonished when the worst obeys. And so the law returns to them exactly what they have rehearsed. But the soul awakened to truth learns to imagine with purpose. It learns to direct the inner movie. It learns to speak the word with authority. It learns to deny appearances, not by resisting them, but by rising above them. It learns to say, "This may be a fact, but the truth of God dissolves it. This may be present, but it has no power over my destiny. This is not the final word, for the word of Spirit is the true decree." Self-actualized souls, those who live in harmony with divine law, do not give their attention to undesirable conditions. They understand that to look at a thing with emotion is to magnetize it. They know that complaint is a form of worship, and they refuse to worship the problem. Instead, they look toward what they intend. They speak of what they choose. They feel into what they claim as already theirs. They bless the good that is coming. They rehearse the miracle instead of the obstacle. They feed the dream instead of the difficulty. For what you focus upon, you attract. What you energize materializes. What you give life to in thought will sooner or later appear. And so the soul must learn the sacred discipline. Withdraw your focus from the undesirable and fix it upon the divine pattern you wish to call forth. This is the beginning of mastery. This is the second great turning of the inner key. When a man begins to understand that his focus is the architect of his fate, he discovers that life is not happening to him. Life is happening through him. Every event, every encounter, every opportunity or obstacle carries within it the signature of his inner state. Nothing arrives uninvited. Nothing appears without a vibrational match. The outer world responds faithfully to the inner pattern, as unerringly as a mirror reflects the face before it. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that man is always choosing, whether he realizes it or not. He chooses by where he allows his thoughts to dwell. He chooses by the words he speaks, the motives he reheats, the narratives he repeats until they become his creed. She said, "Life is a game of boomerangs. Man's thoughts, deeds, and words return to him sooner or later with astounding accuracy. That accuracy is the mathematics of the law. It is the perfect justice of the universe. But what happens when the mind is scattered, unfocused, drifting between desires and fears, hopes and doubts? What happens when the heart yearns for freedom, but the imagination replays failure? What happens when the soul prays for abundance, but secretly expects delay? A scattered mind produces scattered results. A divided heart produces divided outcomes. A wavering focus produces wavering manifestations. Most people live in this divided state, hoping with one part of themselves, doubting with the other. They plant a seed of desire and then uproot it with worry. They speak a word of intention and then cancel it with fear. They whisper a prayer and then rehearse the opposite. And then they say the law does not work. But the law is always working. It is our focus that wavers. You cannot hold a picture of lack in your mind and expect prosperity to answer. You cannot dwell in the vibration of fear and expect peace to bloom. You cannot rehearse rejection and expect love to find you. The universe responds to your dominant tone, not your occasional wish. It answers the feeling, frequency that you inhabit most often. This is why consistency of focus is the gateway to manifestation. Florence taught that man must live as though his desire is already fulfilled. She said, "If one asks for success and prepares for failure, he will get the situation he prepared for." And truly, this is the secret many overlook. Preparation is a form of focus. How you prepare shows what you truly expect. If you prepare for disappointment, you call disappointment. If you prepare for delay, you invite delay. If you prepare for your blessing, you magnetize your blessing. Spirit meets you at the level of your preparation. This is why visualization, affirmation, prayer, and sacred repetition are not idle activities. They are spiritual construction. Every day, every repetition, every moment of inner alignment lays another brick in the invisible structure that will soon become your visible experience. To focus is to build. To feel is to shape. To believe is to call forth. Your desire is a divine seed. It already contains its own blueprint, its own timing, its own fulfillment. But the seed waits on your focus. It waits on your faith to water it. It waits on your feeling to warm it. It waits on your consistency to call it into form. A gardener does not doubt the seed every day. A gardener does not dig up the soil to check if it is growing. A gardener knows that what he planted must appear if he tends it faithfully. So must you become the gardener of your own mind. Feed the seed of your desire. Protect it from the weeds of fear and doubt. Water it with gratitude and expectation. And above all, keep your focus steady upon its fulfillment. For the seed grows in the silence long before the world sees its first leaf. Miracles form in the invisible before they step into the visible. Your good is maturing even now. Strengthen each time you return your focus to it. When you understand this, worry becomes unnecessary. Doubt becomes illogical. Fear becomes powerless. You begin to realize that the universe bends to the unwavering mind. The law obeys the steadfast heart. The world rearranges itself for the one who does not waver. And in this constancy, you discover a profound truth. Your focus is not merely attention, it is creation. When you begin to hold your focus with greater steadiness, something remarkable occurs. The outer world subtly shifts, bends, and reorders itself around your new inner pattern. At first, the signs may seem small: an unexpected message, a fortunate timing, a sudden idea, a gentle release of an old burden. But these are not coincidences. They are the early tremors of a manifestation that has begun to take form. Florence Scovel Shinn often called these signs chemicalizations, the stirring of the unseen before the visible arrives. She taught that when truth enters consciousness, everything unlike that truth must rise to the surface to be dissolved. And many people, not knowing this law, become frightened when life begins to stir. They mistake movement for trouble, when in fact it is simply the old pattern loosening its hold. When you shift your focus from fear to faith, from lack to abundance, from confusion to clarity, the old structures of your life begin to reorganize. Sometimes this reorganization is gentle, and sometimes it feels like a shaking. But the shaking is not a sign of loss. It is a sign of release. The shell breaks when the seed is ready to grow. The cocoon dissolves when the butterfly is ready to rise. Nothing leaves your life unless something greater is prepared to take its place. The universe never subtracts without preparing to multiply. It never closes a door without opening a greater gate. It never removes a branch unless it plans to make room for fruit. When your focus shifts, life must shift. When your vibration changes, circumstances must change. When your inner world transforms, the outer world must reflect it. It cannot do otherwise, for the outer is the echo of the inner. But here is where most falter. They do not stay with the new focus long enough for it to crystallize. They return to the old vision the moment the chemicalization begins. They misinterpret change as chaos and retreat into familiar patterns. They pray for transformation, but resist the motion of change. They call for newness, but cling to the comfort of old limitations. They ask for a harvest while holding tightly to barren soil. But the one who understands spiritual law does not fear the stirring. He knows that the shaking is evidence that the old vibration has already broken. He knows that the disturbance is simply the rearranging of life in his favor. He knows that absolute good is the foundation of the universe, and any movement is a movement toward greater expression of that good. Florence said, "I do not resist the situation. I put it in God's hands and rejoice in its perfect solution." And indeed, this is the attitude of the master, calm in the storm, centered in uncertainty, steadfast when appearances wobble. For he knows that appearances are temporary, but spiritual law is eternal. He knows that emotions fluctuate, but truth does not waver. He knows that circumstances shift, but his focus determines their final shape, and so he walks forward with assurance. He blesses every change. He welcomes the new. He remains faithful to the vision, even when the evidence is not yet visible. This is the moment where intention becomes power. This is the moment where desire becomes decree. This is the moment where the invisible becomes tangible. When you hold your focus steady through the transition, even the winds of change become your allies. The universe begins to conspire on your behalf. People you have never met rise to assist you. Opportunities you did not expect appear. Paths you could not see reveal themselves. The right idea arrives exactly on time. The right connection meets you as though drawn by magnetism. The right door opens with a quiet click, as if it had been waiting for you. These are not wonders. They are laws in motion. They are the natural consequences of aligned focus. They are the harvest of a consciousness rooted in faith instead of fear. The world responds to your inner alignment with mathematical precision. And when your focus is unwavering, the timing you're good becomes inevitable. Everything in your world begins to echo your intention. Everything begins to lean toward your fulfillment. Everything begins to cooperate with the vibration you hold. And so, the power lies not in force, nor in struggle, nor in striving, but in steadfast focus, quiet expectation, and unwavering faith in the unseen good that is already yours. As your focus deepens and your inner alignment strengthens, you begin to realize that you are not walking alone. A subtle companionship arises, an invisible guidance, a gentle prompting, a whisper of intuition that grows clearer with every step. It is the voice of your own divine self, the God consciousness within you, leading you toward the fulfillment of your intention. Florence Scovel Shinn often said, "Intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain, but simply points the way." And indeed, this is the next great unfolding, the awakening of divine direction. When your mind is scattered and your emotions are tangled in fear, intuition becomes faint, barely audible beneath the noise of the world. But when your focus is fixed, when your inner atmosphere is calm, when you dwell in the vibration of faith, intuition rises to the surface like a pearl lifted from the deep. It speaks quietly, but with authority. It guides gently, but with certainty. It leads simply, but with divine precision. Intuition is the language of spirit. It is the map held within the dream. It is the compass that always points towards your good. Many people ask for guidance, but do not create the inner stillness required to receive it. They pray for answers but continue rehearsing fear. They seek direction while insisting on specific outcomes. They ask for divine help but resist divine timing. Guidance cannot be heard in a stormy mind. Spirit cannot be felt in a cluttered heart. Direction cannot be perceived by one who insists on holding the steering wheel tightly. But when your focus shifts inward, when you release the need to force, when you surrender the old pattern, when you affirm that everything in your life is working together for good, intuition begins to speak in unmistakable ways. A knowing without explanation. A gentle feeling that says, "Go here," or "Wait," or "Trust." This guidance does not shout, it hums. It does not argue, it reveals. It does not panic, it simply illuminates the path. When you follow it, even without understanding every step, you place yourself under a higher law of harmony. You stop pushing against life and begin flowing with it. You cease striving and start allowing. You move from fear-driven action to soul-led motion. And then life begins to open before you in ways you could never have planned. You find yourself in the right place at the right time. You overhear exactly the information you needed. A door you didn't know existed swings open. A chance meeting becomes a divine appointment. A seeming delay turns out to be perfect alignment. You come to understand that nothing is random. Nothing is accidental. Nothing arrives without purpose. Even the detours have meaning. Even the pauses are preparation. Even the closed doors are protection. The universe is arranging itself in exquisite order. orchestrated by the very intention you planted through your focus. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the divine design, the perfect blueprint for your life, already prepared for you, waiting for your recognition. And when your focus is aligned with your deepest truth, you step into that divine blueprint with ease. Fear fades because you no longer feel alone. Doubt dissolves because guidance becomes continuous. Struggle ceases because you are now cooperating with the flow of spirit. Your path becomes smoother, not because life removes every challenge, but because you now move through challenges with clarity instead of confusion, with courage instead of dread, with peace instead of agitation. And each time you trust this inner guidance, your life becomes more reflective of your divine nature. You begin to live in a rhythm of signs and synchronicities, in a dance between intention and reception, in a partnership with the infinite. You realize that the universe is not against you, nor indifferent to you. It is responding to you, arranging itself around the vibration you hold. And when your focus is pure, clear, and aligned, your whole life becomes an unfolding of grace. This is the higher dimension of manifestation, not merely attracting what you want, but being guided toward what is already yours. When you begin to live by intention rather than habit, something remarkable happens. Your relationship with the present moment transforms. You no longer look at your life as a series of problems to analyze or obstacles to fear. You see it as a canvas, open and receptive to the impressions of your thoughts, your words, and your inner atmosphere. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, "Your world is the world you have made, but with changing your thoughts, you can change your world." And this truth becomes clearer once you stop repeating the patterns of the past and start consciously planting the seeds of the future. The present moment is not a holding place. It is a generator. It is the fertile soil where every intention grows. It is the sacred ground where the invisible becomes visible. It is the meeting point of spirit and form. Many people remain bound to what currently is because they assume that the circumstances they see around them are fixed, or meaningful, or predictive. They mistake the appearance for the truth, the temporary for the eternal, the symptom for the cause. What is nothing more than the harvest of yesterday's thoughts. It is the echo of old beliefs. It is the residue of your former vibration. It is not your identity, and it certainly is not your destiny. Florence would say, "Never look at the present condition unless you want it repeated." She knew that the moment you begin describing your circumstances, complaining about them, or analyzing them emotionally, you reactivate them in your subconscious. You breathe life into what should be fading away. So the spiritual student learns the sacred discipline of non-reactivity. Not denial, non-reactivity. Not ignoring the facts, refusing to grant them authority. You acknowledge what is, but you withdraw your energy from it. You see the condition, but you do not bow to it. You notice the circumstance, but you do not identify with it. Instead, you quietly affirms, "This is only the shell of an old thought. A new reality is forming." This is where divine intention, your true creative power, begins to move. When you stop feeding energy to what no longer serves you, the old patterns lose momentum. They dissolve from lack of nourishment. They wither without your attention. This is the spiritual equivalent of pruning a garden. You cut away the dead growth, so the living growth can flourish. But many people cling to their current conditions because they fear uncertainty. They believe the known misery is safer than the unknown possibility. They rehearse their problems, revisit their failures, and retell their tragedies as though doing so ensures control. Yet all it ensures is repetition. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man's word is his wand. With it he builds or destroys." And the words most people repeat are simply affirmations of what is. They say, "I always get sick. Nothing ever works out. I meet the same kind of people. This is just who I am." Every phrase becomes a subconscious command. Every word becomes a seed of continuation. Every complaint becomes a prayer for more of the same. But the moment you redirect your focus, the moment you speak from intention instead of observation, you begin altering the spiritual blueprint of your life. You replace, "I always get sick," with "Divine life flows through me in every breath." You replace, "Nothing works out," with "Everything unfolds in perfect timing." You replace, "This is just who I am," with "I'm being made new by the Spirit within me." These new words, soaked in faith and authority, become the architects of your next reality. Your present moment becomes a doorway, not a diagnosis, a launching point, not a limitation, a place of power, not a prison. And slowly, quietly, beautifully, your life reorganizes itself around your new vibration. What once seemed fixed begins to dissolve. What felt impossible becomes natural. What looked hopeless becomes harmonious. Why? Because you stopped worshiping what is and began embracing what can be. This is how the student of metaphysics awakens, not by fighting the facts, but by withdrawing belief from them and placing faith in the unseen, the possible, the divinely intended. As you progress further on this path of intention, you begin to observe another profound truth. Your past has no power except the power you continue to give it. What has been does not determine what will be, unless you allow it to. This is a cornerstone metaphysical law, one Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized again and again. She taught, "The past is finished and forgotten. Your present moment is your point of power." Yet most people carry their past as though it were an anchor shackled to their ankles, dragging through their days, slowing their momentum, and coloring every new opportunity with the dust of old memories. When the past becomes your reference point, it becomes your ruler. When it becomes your teacher, it becomes your limitation. When it becomes your identity, it becomes your destiny. The past, your former choices, disappointments, heartbreaks, traumas, beliefs, does not belong to your present intention. It is only the wake of your life, the trail left behind by the boat that is you moving forward. And as the wake cannot steer the boat, the past cannot direct your future unless you hand it the wheel. Yet so many do exactly that. "This always happens to me. I've never succeeded at this before. That's just the way I was raised. I've been this way for too long to change. It's too late for me." Every one of these statements is a decree, a self-imposed verdict, a spiritual law spoken into motion. Florence often warned, "Your word is your wand," and too many are waving their wand backward, summoning the ghosts of yesterday to shape today. The student of intention, however, learns to turn the wand forward. You begin to understand that the past is not a prophecy, it is simply a pattern. And patterns can be broken the moment awareness enters the mind. The past is not a prison, It is only a memory, and memories lose their power when you stop feeding them emotion. The past is not a guide, it is only a record, and records can be rewritten with new thoughts, new beliefs, and new choices. You start to recognize that every painful experience you have lived was only a chapter, not the entire book. It was a classroom, not a cage. It was a moment of soul growth, not a mark of identity. Even the hardest memories, those that left scars, confusion, or sorrow, hold within them a hidden gift. They taught you contrast. They showed you what you no longer want. They awakened desires you didn't know you carried. They shaped your compassion, your wisdom, your strength. Florence would say, adversity is preparation. Every apparent failure carries the seed of its equivalent success. When you understand this, the past loses its sting. You step into a new relationship with what has been. You no longer recall old events with bitterness, but with neutrality, or even gratitude. You no longer relive old hurts, because you have extracted the lesson and released the pain. You no longer fear repetition, because you are creating from intention, not memory. In this new awareness, you begin to declare, whatever occurred in the past is powerless now. I dissolve it through forgiveness, and I move forward with joy. Forgiveness becomes your ally, not for others, but for your own liberation. Releasing resentment becomes an act of energetic hygiene. Surrendering old stories becomes an act of spiritual maturity. You realize that holding on to the past only magnetizes more of the same. Releasing it opens the gate to miracles. And slowly, as you detach from what always has been, you notice something extraordinary. Life starts responding to the new you instead of the old you. People treat you differently. Opportunities feel fresh instead of repetitive. Your inner voice becomes clearer and kinder. Your vibration rises, and with it, your entire reality shifts. This is the power of intention meeting the freedom of release. You are no longer the echo of your past. You are the architect of your future. You are the artist painting a new world with the brush of consciousness. You are the soul stepping out of history and into destiny. And as Florence Scovel Shinn would affirm, new doors of good now open to me. The divine plan of my life now unfolds in perfect order. When you begin to awaken to your own divine authority, you inevitably encounter one of the greatest tests on the spiritual path, the expectations, opinions, and demands of others. For many, this is the very point where their power leaks away, not through their own doubt, but through the fear of disappointing someone else. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her students, no man is your enemy, no man is your friend. Every man is your teacher. And one of the greatest lessons others teach us is this: your life cannot unfold freely if you allow others to think for you. Yet countless people do exactly that. They hand their dreams to other people's opinions. They surrender their joy to someone else's approval. They shape their choices around someone else's fears. They dim their light because someone else is uncomfortable with brightness. Many live not from their own intention, but from inherited scripts. Parents' expectations, society's narratives, cultural conditioning, or the opinions of people who have never lived a day in their shoes. They say, I can't do that. What would my family say? I shouldn't change now. Everyone expects me to stay the same. They won't understand. They won't approve. But Florence would say, you owe no one but God. Your soul's guidance is not a group project. Your destiny is not subject to a committee vote. Your intention does not require permission. And the moment you stop living for applause, you begin living in alignment. The expectations of others act like invisible threads pulling you away from your path. If you follow every tug, you lose yourself. You forget your own inner voice. You abandon your own divine plan. You become a performer in someone else's story instead of the creator of your own. To live in intention, you must reclaim your energy from others' projections. When someone says, "You should," you quietly think, "Is this aligned with my higher self?" When someone warns, "That won't work," you remember, "Their limitation is not my law." When someone expresses fear, you affirm, "I do not inherit their vibration." When someone insists you remain who you were, you declare, "I am becoming who I am meant to be." Florence taught that every individual must stand alone with God, that is, stand in truth regardless of public opinion. She believed that when you follow your own inner authority, you will be guided, protected, and provided for in ways that defy logic and confound doubters. So, the student of spiritual law learns a sacred and liberating practice: detachment from the mental atmosphere of others. This does not mean cutting people out of your life. It means not letting their vibration overwrite yours. It means listening with courtesy, but deciding from spirit. It means loving others, but obeying your own soul. You begin to see that many people speak from their fears, not their wisdom. They speak from their past, not their possibility. They speak from what they know, not from what is spiritually, truly realistic. But they mean, "Be afraid like me." They say, "Be careful," but they mean, "Stay small so I feel safe." Who do you think you are? And spirit whispers back, "You are my creation." You learn to bless them, not resist them, not resent them, but simply bless them and walk your path anyway. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the law of individuality. She believed every soul has a unique divine blueprint, and that following your own blueprint is the only way to peace, power, and prosperity. When you align with your own intention, your confidence grows. Your inner voice becomes louder. Your energy becomes centered. Your direction becomes unmistakable. And something miraculous happens. Those who once doubted you often end up respecting you. Those who resisted your change eventually adjust to it. Those who pressured you begin to release their hold. For when you follow your own divine path, the universe rearranges itself to support you. Your true companions are drawn in. Your real soul circle emerges. Those meant for your future recognize your growth, and those meant for your past quietly fade. This is not rebellion. This is alignment. This is sovereignty. This is spiritual adulthood. Florence Scovel Shinn would affirm, "I am unmoved by appearances. I follow the inner voice of truth." When your attention is no longer scattered among others' expectations, your intention becomes a laser. Pure, steady, unstoppable. You walk with confidence, clarity, and spiritual authority. And you finally understand one of the greatest metaphysical secrets. No one can block the good that belongs to you, unless you allow their voice to overpower your own. Now, having liberated your mind from the distractions and expectations of others, we step into the sacred realm where your inner word becomes your creative instrument. Florence Scovel Shinn often spoke the tremendous power contained in the spoken or thought word, teaching that every word is a seed, every affirmation a blueprint, and every repeated phrase a law in action. Consider this: the universe does not distinguish between imagination and reality. It responds not to your doubts, but to your convictions. When you persistently dwell upon your desires, speaking them inwardly with faith, the unseen forces align to bring your intention into tangible manifestation. This is the divine law of attraction in its purest form. The law that Jesus illustrated when he said, "According to your faith be it unto you." Yet most people falter here. They think of words as mere expressions, casual statements that fall harmlessly into the air. Florence reminds us, your word is your wand. Your word is your law. Every thought you repeat, whether aloud or silently, is a command given to the universal mind. It is the act of creation itself. If your attention lingers on fear, scarcity, or limitation, you are issuing orders for more of the same. If you concentrate upon joy, abundance, and success, you are planting seeds for a harvest of fulfillment. This is why repetition, intention, and faith are so vital. Florence spoke of affirmations not as superficial exercises, but as acts of divine authority. You do not speak them to coax the universe. You speak them to recognize what is already true in the invisible world. Just as a seed carries the full form of the tree, your words, when charged with faith, carry the full potential of your desire. Let us imagine a simple practice. Each morning, close your eyes and turn your attention inward. Speak quietly to yourself. I am prosperous. I am loved. I am guided and protected. All my needs are supplied. Repeat these words, not as a hope or wish, but as a statement of fact. Feel them, believe them, and let them resonate through every fiber of your being. Florence teaches that the universe responds not to what you want in the future, but to the vibration of what you already accept as true in the present. Do not be discouraged if the outer world seems slow to change. The visible manifestation always follows the invisible conviction. Just as a gardener does not demand immediate fruit, but patiently waters, nurtures, and trusts the process, so must you persist in your inner act. The soil of consciousness must first be prepared, the seeds planted, the conditions nurtured, before the full bloom appears. Moreover, Florence reminds us that every word carries not only power, but responsibility. You cannot indulge in complaints, curses, or resentments without issuing orders for limitation. Every time you murmur, "I can't," or "I'm unlucky," you are speaking directly to the forces of the universe and instructing them to comply. This is not superstition, it is law. The universe, like an obedient servant, answers every command. The only question is whether you are commanding from fear or from faith. Therefore, discipline your speech, guard your thoughts, and cultivate the inner word. Let every phrase, every sentence, be a declaration of the reality you intend to experience. And remember, it is not your effort that compels the universe, but your alignment. The stronger the faith behind the word, the swifter and more perfect the manifestation. The invisible always responds to conviction, to certainty, to unshakable belief. Florence often said, "Your word is the law. Speak with authority. Speak with faith. Speak as if the invisible has already become visible." This is the essence of spiritual mastery. It is the bridge between the world you see and the world you imagine. It is the secret by which the saints, the sages, and the awakened have always operated. So, My dear listener, take this knowledge and begin to wield it. Speak your word with conviction. Think your word with joy. Imagine it with the certainty of one who knows the law cannot fail. And as you do, you will witness the miraculous unfolding of your desires. You are no longer a passive passenger. You are the conscious creator of your own destiny. Now that we have embraced the power of the spoken word, let us turn our attention to the silent, yet potent force of visualization. Florence Scovel Shinn often emphasized that the mind, when rightly directed, is the workshop of creation. The images you hold within your consciousness, whether vivid or vague, are the precursors to all events and circumstances in your life. Imagine your mind as a canvas, and your thoughts as the brushstrokes that paint your reality. Every thought, every image, is infused with life, drawing to itself corresponding conditions and experiences. If you dwell on lack, limitation, or disappointment, your mental picture attracts more of the same. If you concentrate on joy, abundance, and success, the universe mirrors that vision, arranging circumstances to align with your inner scene. Visualization is not merely daydreaming. It is the act of faith made tangible. Florence often illustrated this with the parable of the invisible kingdom. To enter into your desire, you must first occupy it in consciousness. See yourself already living the life you long for. Feel the emotions, sense the atmosphere, and allow the energy of that scene to saturate your being. When you hold this image consistently, the universal forces move to manifest it in your outer world. Let us consider a practical example. Suppose you seek prosperity. Do not focus on the debts or obstacles you currently face. Instead, imagine a life of financial ease. Visualize your bank account overflowing, your work fruitful and rewarding, and your generosity flowing naturally. See yourself handling wealth with grace and wisdom. Do this daily and with unwavering faith, and you will notice the subtle shifts, opportunities presenting themselves, unexpected resources appearing, doors opening where none seemed to exist before. Florence warns against the destructive habit of combining visualization with doubt. The mind cannot hold two opposing realities simultaneously. If you visualize abundance yet internally whisper, "But I'm not worthy," or "It will never happen," the law of mind is neutralized. Faith must be absolute. You must live in the scene as though it is already true, and let go of all hesitation. The emotions you attach to your inner images act as the fuel that accelerates manifestation. Joy, gratitude, and expectancy are magnets for the corresponding reality. Negativity, fear, and anxiety, conversely, act as anchors, slowing or blocking the flow of blessings. Therefore, cultivate not only a clear mental picture, but also a harmonious emotional resonance. Remember, this is a process, not a mere exercise. The seed of your desire requires patience, persistence, and faith. Do not grow weary if the outer world resists the change you envision. Florence teaches that the invisible always precedes the visible. The blueprint exists first. The material manifestation follows. Your role is to maintain the inner reality with unwavering confidence and joy. In practice, create a daily ritual of visualization. Set aside moments of quiet, free from distraction. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to step fully into your desired life. Engage all your senses. See, hear, touch, and feel the environment as though you are already there. Repeat this with devotion, and watch as the unseen forces conspire to make inner picture concrete in your outer world. The principle is simple: what you see inwardly, you will experience outwardly. What you dwell upon with faith and feeling is drawn irresistibly toward you. By mastering this sacred art of visualization, you align yourself with the universal law and become a conscious architect of your destiny. When your mind holds the vision and your heart embraces the feeling, your word and your will join in harmony with the divine, and your desires move from the invisible to the visible. This is the path of the conscious creator, the law by which all miracles unfold. Now let us speak of the words you speak, for in the teaching of Florence Scovel Shinn, your words are not mere sounds. They are living forces that shape your world. Every utterance, whether aloud or in thought, sets into motion the law of attraction. The words you choose to express your inner state are the seeds that germinate in your life. Consider carefully what you say about yourself and your circumstances. If you declare, "I am struggling, I never have enough, things never work out for me," you are impressing your subconscious mind with a pattern of lack and limitation. The universe, which responds impartially to the instructions of your consciousness, will faithfully mirror that declaration. You cannot speak lack and hope for abundance. The law of mind does not tolerate contradiction. Florence teaches that the power of the word is intensified when spoken with faith and conviction. A word uttered in doubt carries little potency, but a word spoken with certainty, clarity, and joy moves the unseen forces to align in its favor. Therefore, guard your tongue, and even more importantly, the silent words within your mind. Thoughts, after all, are words unspoken, and they carry the same creative authority. Let us take an example. Suppose you wish to improve your health. If your language is, "I feel tired and sickly," your words reinforce weakness and invite further illness. Instead, begin to affirm, "Every cell in my body is filled with vitality," or "I am strong, healthy, and vibrant." Repeat these affirmations daily, not as empty phrases, but as declarations of the reality you intend to inhabit. Your subconscious mind accepts these truths as facts, and gradually, your outer life conforms to this inner decree. It is not enough to speak these words mechanically. Florence reminds us that emotion must accompany expression. The soul must believe the truth it declares, for the law operates not on verbal repetition alone, but on the unity of word, thought, and feeling. The phrase, "I am prosperous," must be felt in every fiber of your being. It must resonate in your heart as though it were already accomplished. When your words and feelings are in harmony, the universe responds with precise orchestration. Another crucial teaching is the elimination of negative speech about others. When you criticize, complain, or speak ill of anyone, you are releasing energy that ultimately rebounds into your own life. The principle of mind is impartial. It will manifest the nature of your words, whether constructive or destructive. Therefore, speak only of what you intend to attract, and see every human being, circumstance, and challenge through the lens of divine possibilities. Florence often emphasized the miraculous effect of affirming God's law through your words. For example, when you say, "I am guided by divine intelligence," you align yourself with the infinite source of wisdom and power. Your consciousness then becomes a magnet for solutions, ideas, and opportunities that were previously unseen. Words, when spoken in faith, become instruments of transformation, and the outer world bends to reflect your inner declaration. Remember, repetition with conviction is key. Words spoken occasionally without heartfelt feeling have little power. Repetition, practiced with joy and expectation, strengthens the creative current. Over time, what began as a spoken word manifests tangibly in your circumstances. This is not mere optimism, it is the law of life, operating with exactness, like gravity or the rising sun. In conclusion, speak only that which you wish to see appear in your life. Align your words with your inner vision and intention. Let your speech be a prayer, a command, a blessing, and a declaration of your divine right to abundance, health, love, and joy. In the symphony of creation, your words are the instruments through which the unseen becomes seen. Now we turn our attention to the power of attention and focus. For in the realm of manifestation, where you place your thoughts and energy determines the reality you experience. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the mind is like a magnet. It draws to itself the images, feelings, and conditions that occupy it most. What you give your attention to expands, and what you ignore diminishes. Many people unknowingly sabotage their own lives by dwelling upon what they lack. They talk endlessly about their problems, recount past mistakes, and worry over unmet desires. This constant focus on the absence of what they want impresses the subconscious mind with limitation. It is as if they are planting seeds in barren soil and expecting a harvest of abundance. To shift your life, you must turn your attention away from what is missing and direct it solely toward what you intend to create. Instead of saying, "I cannot pay my bills," see yourself already living in financial ease. Instead of lamenting a lonely relationship, picture yourself surrounded by love and friendship. As Florence teaches, the visible world is a reflection of the invisible. Your outer life cannot source the inner scene you maintain in your consciousness. Consider the example of health. If a person dwells on sickness, aches, or fatigue, their attention fuels weakness. But if they shift their focus to vitality, imagining themselves strong, energized, and whole, the universal law responds. The subconscious mind, ever obedient, begins to orchestrate circumstances and responses that match the dominant state of consciousness. It is vital to understand and is not passive. Simply wishing for change is insufficient. You must actively direct your mind to dwell upon the desired state with clarity, persistence, and feeling. Visualization, affirmation, and mental rehearsal are tools that serve this purpose. Repeat your mental picture often. Immerse yourself in the sensation of it being real, and allow the energy of expectancy to fill your being. Florence warns against letting your mind drift back into old patterns. Thoughts of lack, regret, or do not gossip about what is missing. Do not replay disappointments. And do not allow the opinions of others, no matter how authoritative they seem, to dominate your thinking. Their focus is not your power. Your focus is your power. Another aspect to consider is the power of intention in your attention. It is not enough to think generally about prosperity or love. Specify the outcome. Feel it is real and expect its manifestation. Intention gives your attention direction, and direction is the force that moves the unseen into form. Just as a beam of light creates illumination where it is focused, so too does concentrated attention bring life to the object of your desire. Remember, Attention acts like a seed planted in fertile soil. What you water with thoughts, words, and emotions grows. What you neglect fades. Therefore, cultivate awareness of your focus and ensure it serves the life you wish to create. Avoid the trap of dwelling on past mistakes, current obstacles, or others' expectations. These are the weeds that choke your inner garden. In practical terms, begin each day by consciously choosing the state you will inhabit. See it clearly, speak it positively, and feel it fully. Let your focus guide your actions, your words, and your responses. Let your attention act as a magnet that draws circumstances, people, and opportunities into alignment with your inner vision. As Florence would say, your word, your mind is your garden. What you cultivate within, you will see without. When your attention is rightly directed, and your intentions are aligned with the divine law of your being, life flows effortlessly, and your desires manifest naturally. Now let us speak of the danger of looking backward and the futility of dwelling on the past. Florence Scovel Shinn teaches that the past is but a shadow, a trail left behind by the choices you once made. It holds no power over your present, except the power you give it through thought. To remain focused on what has been is to anchor yourself in limitation and to impede the flow of new blessings. Many people spend their days lamenting past mistakes, regrets, and failures. They say, "I've always been this way," or "I've never been lucky," and thus they bind themselves to the very conditions they wish to change. This is like trying to steer a ship by looking solely at the wake it leaves in the water. The wake shows you where you have been, but it cannot propel you forward. The engine of your life is the present moment, your choices, intentions, and thoughts right now. To manifest the life you desire, you must turn your gaze away from what has been and direct your consciousness toward what you intend to be. The past is simply a memory, an impression on your mind that can serve a lesson but should never dictate your future. Florence teaches that the present moment is the creative point where your thoughts, words, and beliefs shape your reality. Imagine, if you will, a garden overrun with weeds. To cultivate beautiful flowers, you must remove the weeds, but not by staring at the empty patches left behind. You plant new seeds in fertile soil, water them with your attention, and nurture them with consistent belief. So too with your life, the past cannot nourish you, but the seeds you plant now will grow into the future you desire. It is also crucial to recognize that your self-concept is the most important determinant of your future. If you have always thought of yourself as unworthy, unlucky, or incapable, then naturally you attract circumstances that confirm this belief. But your self-concept is not fixed. It is a living force that responds to the assumptions and affirmations you maintain in the present. When you assume a new state of being, when you declare, "I am capable, loved, and prosperous," the universe adjusts to accommodate this new reality. Florence Scovel Shinn advises that one must release attachment to what has always been. Do not say, "This is how I am, and I cannot change." Such statements are self-imposed limitations that bind you to repetition of the same patterns. Instead, affirm daily, "I am evolving. I am moving into greater harmony, abundance, and joy. My past has no hold over me." By doing so, you free your mind to create the new, to receive what has always been intended for you, and to live in the fullness of your divine potential. Consider your relationships, your finances, your health. If you dwell on past failures, missed opportunities, or lost relationships, you are energizing those conditions to continue. The law of mind is exact. It reproduces the state of consciousness it finds. To change your life, you must stop looking backward, forgive yourself for perceived failures, and give your attention entirely to the present intention. One practical step is the use of affirmations and visualizations. Each day, spend time envisioning the life you desire and it is already accomplished. Speak words of power that affirm your new state. Feel the reality of it in your heart and mind. Persist in this state with the same certainty you would assume in daily habits, and watch as the past loses its grip and the present moment becomes a fertile ground for manifestation. Remember, the past is a shadow, the present is creation. Do not anchor yourself in what has been, release it fully. Plant your intentions in the soil of now, water them with faith, and allow the universe to bring forth the harvest. Florence's teaching is clear. What you choose to think and feel determines the reality you will experience tomorrow. Now let us consider the peril of living according to the expectations of others. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminds us that every thought and word is a decree, and when we live by the opinions, demands, or judgments of others, we unwittingly give them authority over our lives. Many souls spend their entire existence striving to meet the expectations of parents, spouses, friends, or society. They ask, "What will they think if I choose this path?" Or "I must do this to please them." In doing so, they surrender their creative power and place the fulfillment of their desires in the hands of those who are not aligned with their highest good. This is a common cause of frustration, disappointment, and unmanifested dreams. Florence teaches that no one can impose their will upon you unless you allow it. You are the creator of your own reality. Every instruction, suggestion, or opinion from others can be taken in, considered, and politely released if it does not serve your divine purpose. Your power resides in your own consciousness, not in the approval or condemnation of others. Imagine your life as a blank canvas. If you allow others to hold the brush, their colors and patterns will dominate your painting. Only when you take the brush in your own hands and choose the colors and strokes that reflect your inner vision can a masterpiece emerge. So it is with your life. Your assumptions, your words, and your inner affirmations are the brushstrokes of your reality. One of the greatest obstacles to manifestation is focusing on what others want for you rather than what you intend to create for yourself. This includes well-meaning relatives who insist on a certain career path, friends who impose their ideas of success, or society that defines rules and norms. Though their intentions may be good, if their focus conflicts with your inner desire, you will attract circumstances that reinforce their vision rather than your own. Florence emphasizes that the universe responds to the state of consciousness you inhabit, not to the desires of those around you. When you cling to their expectations and allow resentment to build against them, you unknowingly amplify the very conditions you do not wish to experience. Resentments are like weeds in your garden. They choke the life out of your creative power. The practical solution is to release all attachment to what others think or want for you. You may hear advice, observe opinions, and even respect their perspective. but the ultimate decision must belong to your consciousness. Affirm daily, I am the authority of my life. I align only with thoughts and actions that serve my highest good. I release all expectations that are not mine to fulfill. This is not arrogance or defiance. It is the recognition of divine law. Every individual is a unique expression of the creative force, and no one can live your life as you are intended to live it. By claiming your sovereignty in thought, word, and action, you align with the infinite intelligence of the universe, allowing your desires to manifest effortlessly. Consider a river flowing toward the sea. If rocks, branches, or barriers obstruct its course, the water will divert, lose energy, and stagnate. Your attention to what others expect is a similar obstruction. Remove it. Clear the channel. Let your consciousness flow, unimpeded toward the manifestation of your intentions. Remember, Florence teaches that what you hold in mind with faith, clarity, and persistence manifests in form. Do not let another's wishes become the blueprint of your life. Instead, focus entirely on the vision you intend to bring forth. Allow nothing to distract or deter you the energy of your own highest desire. As you practice this, you will find a profound sense of freedom. Your creative power, once diffused among external opinions, will concentrate fully on your inner vision. Your life will begin to reflect the joy, abundance, and success that were always your rightful inheritance. Now, let us continue to the next truth. Now we turn our attention to the sacred practice of directing your thoughts toward what you intend to manifest. Florence Scovel Shinn teaches that your mind is a powerful magnet, attracting into your life exactly what you dwell upon with feeling and faith. Whatever you focus on, you energize, and the universe responds accordingly. Many souls make the mistake of concentrating on what is lacking, what is wrong, or what they fear. They complain about their circumstances, recount their misfortunes, and mentally rehearse the very outcomes they do not desire. The law of mind works impartially. It does not distinguish between what you want and what you do not want. By dwelling on absence, limitation, or failure, you are calling more of it into your life. Florence teaches that thoughts are things, and each thought carries a vibration that seeks corresponding form in the outer world. When you focus your energy on lack, worry, or resentment, you are sending out a signal that the universe faithfully responds to. This is why it is said, what you think about, you bring about. It is not mystical or fanciful. It is a divine law, as fixed and certain as the law of gravity. The remedy is simple, yet often overlooked. Shift your focus from what is lacking to what is desired. Picture your goal vividly. Feel it, speak it, and live from it in imagination as though it is already accomplished. If you desire health, wealth, love, or success, hold the image of that fulfilled state constantly in mind. Do not allow your imagination to entertain the negative, the impossible, or the limitations of current circumstances. Florence emphasizes the importance of repetition and persistence. Affirmations, prayers, or mantras should not be mechanical or superficial. They must be infused with feeling. The emotional conviction behind the thought is what gives it power. When you repeatedly your desire is already fulfilled, your subconscious mind aligns with that state, and your outer world begins to reflect it. Consider the practice of meditative repetition, similar to the ancient japa technique. where a sacred word or phrase is repeated to focus consciousness and draw universal energy. Whether you call it a mantra, affirmation, or divine decree, the principle remains the same. Direct your attention away from the problem and toward the desired outcome. Every repetition strengthens the magnetic field of your consciousness, aligning you with the energy of your desire. It is crucial to understand that this is not mere daydreaming. Visualization and affirmation must be accompanied by the feeling of reality, the inner certainty that your wish is already fulfilled. Florence calls this living from the end. Act, speak, and think as the person who has already received what they desire. In doing so, you impress your subconscious mind with the reality of the wish fulfilled, and the law of mind begins its perfect work. Resist the temptation to dwell on setbacks, past failures, or limitations of the present moment. The universe does not record what has been. It responds to the state of mind you occupy now. Release attachment to the past and all its evidence of lack, and instead immerse yourself in the vision of your ideal life. The river of consciousness flows naturally toward the object held clearly in mind with faith. Every thought is an energy that radiates outward, affecting not only your own life, but the environment around you. By cultivating positive, constructive, and empowering thoughts, you bring harmony, opportunity, and abundance into your experience. Conversely, negative or fearful thoughts attract disharmony, delay, and lack. Florence advises, make a daily practice of consciously choosing the thoughts you entertain. Guard your mind as you would guard a precious jewel. Do not allow it to be cluttered with complaints, criticism, or the projections of others. Every thought should serve your highest good and the manifestation of your desires. As you persist in this practice, you will notice a remarkable shift. Opportunities appear as if by magic, obstacles dissolve, and circumstances realign to support your vision. This is the law at work, the law of attention, the law of manifestation. Your conscious mind, when aligned with your divine vision, becomes the ultimate creator of your reality. Now, let us proceed to the next insight. Now we move into the understanding of what you must release in order to allow your desires to manifest. Florence Scovel Shinn teaches that while directing your thoughts toward what you wish to create is vital, it is equally important to release attachment to the very obstacles, conditions, and outcomes that seem present in your life. Many souls are entangled in the web of what is. They dwell on past mistakes, perceived failures, and the limitations of their current circumstances. They talk endlessly about what is missing, what went wrong, or what they cannot do. This, beloved, is a magnet for more of the same. The law of mind responds impartially. It cannot distinguish between lament and longing. By holding your attention on lack, you strengthen its presence in your life. Florence instructs us to lift our consciousness above the evidence of the senses. If your attention is fixed upon disease, poverty, unkindness, or limitation, these are the very conditions you will perpetuate. The mind cannot create freedom and limitation simultaneously. To step into the realm of manifestation, one must first release identification with the problem. Imagine a boat moving down a river. The wake left behind is merely a trace of where it has been, not the force propelling it forward. So too are your past circumstances. The trail of your past cannot steer the direction of your life. What propels you is the energy and focus of this present moment. By turning your thoughts away from what always has been and placing them upon what is desired, you harness the creative power of your mind. Another obstacle lies in the influence of others. Many well-meaning friends, relatives, or colleagues will project their expectations onto you. They tell you what you should not do, how you ought to behave, or what is realistic. If you absorb their thoughts and energies, you are, without knowing it, attracting their limitations into your own life. Florence warns, you are the only authority over your consciousness. Take in advice or guidance, but do not allow it to shape your inner state unless it aligns with your true desire. To practice this release, begin by consciously observing where your thoughts have been habitually stuck in lack, in limitation, or in the opinions of others. Then, gently shift your attention to what you intend to manifest. Speak and feel as though your desire is already fulfilled. Repeat affirmations, visualize vividly, and hold the image in your mind with emotional conviction. It is not enough to merely wish or hope. The inner state must be faithful, consistent, and unshakable. As Florence says, your word is your wand. Your words create your world. Speak, think, and act as the person who already possesses the good you seek. This includes not only material desires, but also health, peace, joy, and loving relationships. Resentment and resistance are energies that block manifestation. Florence emphasizes that there are no justified resentments. Every resentment, no matter how valid it seems, is a drain on your power. By releasing judgment, anger, and regret, you free the energy necessary for your desires to flow into your experience. Every act of forgiveness, every letting go of attachment, strengthens your vibratory alignment with abundance and success. To summarize, the key steps in this practice are release focus on lack, limitation, and past experiences. Do not absorb the expectations or opinions of others as your own. Persistently shift your consciousness to the fulfilled state of your desires. Eliminate resentment and attachment to outcomes, trusting the law of mind to deliver perfectly. When these steps are faithfully applied, a remarkable transformation occurs. The outer world begins to reflect the inner reality you have cultivated. Opportunities appear, synchronistic events align, and obstacles dissolve naturally. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You are the conscious creator of your life. With this clarity, we now prepare to enter the next section, where the power of vibrational alignment through feeling and faith will be explored, deepening your understanding of manifestation, according to Florence Scovel Shinn. Now we arrive at the final section, where we bring all the truths together and seal them with the most powerful and transformative principle Florence Scovel Shinn imparts: the recognition that you are the creator of your own reality, and your word and thought are the instruments of that creation. Beloved, hear this and let it resonate deep within your soul. Your consciousness is the only reality that matters. Everything you see, hear, or experience in your world is merely a reflection of your inner state. The people, circumstances, and conditions around you are responding to the assumptions you hold about yourself and life. This is the sacred law of mind, unchanging and precise. The great secret of manifestation lies not in striving, struggling, or forcing outcomes, but in living in the state of your desire already fulfilled. Florence Scovel Shinn teaches that your word is a wand. Whatever follows, I am, becomes the seed you plant in the garden of consciousness. Speak it, feel it, and act as though it is already true. Say to yourself, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am loved, I am successful, and hold this as an unshakable inner truth. You must persist in this state until it becomes natural. Just as a seed takes time to sprout and grow into a tree, your new assumptions require time to fully manifest in the outer world. Be patient, be faithful, and resist the temptation to judge by the evidence of the senses. The outer world responds only after your inner consciousness has fully accepted the truth. Release all fear, doubt, and resentment, for these are the only forces that obstruct your good. Florence reminds us that there are no justified resentments. Every act of letting go, every moment of forgiveness, and every thought of trust strengthens your vibrational alignment with the divine flow of abundance. Remember also, there is no power outside of you. You do not need validation, permission, or approval from any person or circumstance. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and your assumption is the key that unlocks it. When you say with conviction, I am the power, you are acknowledging the creative force that moves the universe itself. You are claiming your birthright as a conscious creator. Live each day from this knowing. Let every breath affirm your power. Let every action reflect your inner authority, and let every moment be guided by the truth that you are the cause and the world is the effect. No obstacle can stand against you, no limitation can bind you, because the law responds to the state you occupy within. So now, as you go forth into your life, carry this sacred understanding with you. Focus on your desires, speak them into being, feel them as already fulfilled, and release all attachment to how or when they appear. Your world will shift naturally to mirror your inner reality. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the creator, the authority, and the power. In closing, beloved, let this be your ultimate declaration and practice. I am the power. I am the fulfillment of all my desires. Persist in this truth, act from it, and watch as your life transforms in miraculous and effortless ways. The kingdom of abundance, health, love, and success is already yours. It has only awaited your conscious recognition. Go forth, not as a seeker, but as a knower. Not as a dreamer, but as a creator. Your consciousness shapes your world. Your word is your wand. Your assumption is your law. Claim it, live it, and your life will become the magnificent expression of your highest self. This is the final and most sacred truth. You are the power, and your reality is yours to command.
I now speak the word. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. By divine right, my supply flows freely and continuously. What is mine by divine inheritance cannot be withheld from me. My wallet, a symbol of the substance of things hoped for, draws unto itself all that I require and more. The field must respond to my word, for the spoken word sets spiritual law in motion, and none can oppose it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I walk by faith, not by sight, and I know there is no lack in divine mind. I do not concern myself with outer appearances. I do not look to man, to wages, to banks, nor to conditions. My wallet is not limited by the world's illusion, for my wallet is under grace, my wallet is under law, my wallet is connected to the infinite storehouse of supply. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. This is the word of the Lord, and the word cannot return void. So I declare boldly, my wallet is full of divine circulation. My wallet is a holy vessel for substance. My wallet receives money from expected and unexpected channels. My wallet calls in supply. My wallet radiates wealth. As I give thanks for what is already mine in the invisible, the visible must come to pass. That which I see not shall soon be seen. I hold my wallet now and speak the word. Wealth loves me, money comes to me freely. I am aligned with divine supply. All financial needs are met before I even utter them, for the Father knoweth what things I have need of, even before I ask. I do not beg, I do not plead, I speak the word. I command supply to appear now. I command riches to pour into every pocket, every fold, every space in this wallet, and it is done in divine order. None of these things move me. I am not disturbed by an empty purse, by a forgotten bill, nor by a passing appearance of lack, for I know appearances are unreal. I know fear is false evidence appearing real. I do not energize the false. I speak truth, and truth is, my wallet is never empty. My wallet is never barren. My wallet is never without. My wallet draws unto it prosperity, gold, green currency and coin, by divine law and right. Every time I open my wallet, I declare, thank you, Father, for the overflowing supply. I bless every bill I see. I give thanks for every cent I hold. I treat money with reverence and joy, for money is God in action, moving on the visible plane. My attitude toward money is one of faith and freedom. I do not chase it, I welcome it. I do not hoard it, I bless it, and the money I release returns to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I now speak the word again. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. The law of attraction is but the law of radiation. What I radiate, I receive. What I bless, increases. What I fear, I draw near. Therefore I erase all thought of loss, of limitation, of not enough, and I replace it with truth. I have more than enough. I live in the overflow. I am supplied with substance beyond my asking. There is no separation in divine mind. There is no distance between my wallet and the riches of heaven. The same power that hung the stars in the sky now fills my wallet with money in right ways. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," now speaks through me, saying, "Let there be wealth, let there be increase, let there be provision," and there is. I stand in the midst of plenty, and I see it. I declare it. I align with it. My faith is the magnet. My gratitude is the key. My word is the command. And so I speak again. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. My wallet is filled with money. My wallet is a magnet for gold. My wallet is sacred ground for circulation, for giving, for receiving, for divine abundance in action. Every word I speak returns to me with increase. Every truth I declare is etched in the ethers. Every affirmation I affirm becomes a command to the field. My word does not return void. I speak with authority. I speak with dominion. I speak with faith that is anchored in the unchanging truth of spiritual law. The Lord is my supply, and my supply is certain. And so it begins. The magnetism is active. The wallet is charged. The wealth is drawn. The flow is initiated. I bless my wallet now, and I call it holy. I bless my wallet now, and I call it full. I bless my wallet now, and I call it done. I now rest in divine assurance, for the field has heard and the field must respond. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet, and so it is. I now remind my spiritual students, nothing stands between you and your good but fear, doubt, and wrong words spoken. The law does not know personality, it knows vibration, it knows command, it knows spoken truth. And I say again, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet, for the law is ever working, whether to build or to destroy. I choose to speak words that build, words that magnetize, words that shape invisible substance into visible form. My wallet is a divine container, a visible vessel for invisible supply. And what I hold in mind, I hold in hand. What I prepare for, I receive. I do not look to man's economy, for I am not under man's law. I am under grace, and grace is sufficient. My wallet reflects my consciousness, and my consciousness is now one with plenty. Therefore my wallet must show forth signs and wonders. For it is written, signs shall follow them that believe. I now say I believe. I believe in the divine source. I believe in the abundance of the infinite. I believe that supply is spiritual before it becomes material. I believe my wallet is blessed. I believe my wallet is growing in power. I believe my wallet is attracting wealth from all directions now. I speak the word of wealth, and wealth must appear. It must obey the word, for the word is law. What the soul accepts, the body experiences. What the mind declares, the world reflects, as within, so without, as above, so below. Therefore I do not wait for money to prove itself before I believe. I believe and then the proof appears. I praise my wallet as if it were already full. I rejoice in advance. I walk by faith, not by evidence. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I say again and again, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. I do not ask how. I do not ask when. I do not concern myself with the channel, for the channel is not my business. The outcome is secured by law. My only duty is to align, to speak, to declare, to give thanks, to hold fast. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, tossed by the wind. I do not waver, I do not question the law. I work it. Every coin I place into my wallet I bless. I do not count it small. I do not call it just enough. I call it blessed, multiplied, and growing. I do not say, it is not enough. I say it is the seed of the harvest. I do not say, this is little. I say this is the beginning of increase, for what I call it it becomes. I speak life over my money. I speak expansion over my wallet. I speak multiplication over every dollar, and every peso and every cent, and the law of increase is activated by my word. I now erase every thought of hoarding. I do not fear loss. I do not cling to substance. I am not a miser, I am a master. I give in faith, I receive in faith. I circulate freely, for money is divine circulation. I do not trap the river. I let it flow, and as I release I receive. As I give I gain. As I trust I triumph. My wallet is a channel, not a container. It does not hold and stop, it receives and flows. It receives to release and releases to receive. It is a divine rhythm, a sacred pulse of the infinite. I say again, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. Every time I carry it, it draws unto itself good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Every time I open it, it opens to miracles. Every time I bless it, it is blessed. I remember the words of the prophet, "Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it." My wallet is ready, my wallet is open, my wallet is under the open windows of heaven. And my faith is the proof that activates the promise. I do not argue with appearances. I do not complain about timing. I do not rehearse lack. I rehearse truth. I rehearse supply. I rehearse my divine inheritance. I repeat again with power. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. My wallet is the proof of my faith. My wallet is full of divine substance. My wallet carries the vibration of plenty. My wallet is a magnet for money, gold, favor, and increase. And so I let it be. I trust the law. I trust the flow. I trust the magnetism. I have spoken into being. I have spoken the word, and my word does not return void. My wallet is no longer passive, it is powerful. It is no longer empty, it is expansive. It is no longer waiting, it is drawing. And so I say it again, and again, and again. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet, by divine right, in divine order, now and always. The word has gone forth, and I do not call it back. I do not contradict it with fear, nor cancel it with doubt. I do not sow and then dig up the seed. I do not bless and then curse with complaint. I remain steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of truth. For I know that my wallet, touched by faith and anointed by spoken word, has become a living instrument of divine supply. I repeat again with holy conviction, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. I no longer treat money as a stranger, nor speak of it as though it were far from me. I do not say I lack, or I wish, or I need. I say it is mine now by divine right. I do not delay my good with low speech. I do not distance my prosperity by the confession of struggle. I call money near. I call it welcome. I call it holy. I call it here now. The field must respond to my vibration, and I vibrate wealth, gratitude, and right action. The ethers are charged with my word, and the substance of things hoped for is already forming. I now speak to the invisible, money, appear, provision, manifest, supply, take shape. I command the elements. I command the unseen. I command the hidden things to come forth. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things, which thou knowest not. I am not afraid to call. I am not afraid to command. I am not afraid to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord concerning my wallet. Each time I touch my wallet, I treat it with honor. I do not crumple bills. I do not speak of never enough. I do not rehearse how it was. I rehearse how it is in divine mind. And in divine mind I have more than enough. In divine mind I live in the overflow. In divine mind my wallet is a magnet for miracles, a doorway for favor, a house of gold prepared for the righteous. And so I walk with certainty, even when appearances suggest otherwise. I speak faith over empty places. I bless the space that is yet to be filled, for the space itself is holy. It is the womb of creation. It is the readiness that receives. It is the stillness before the outpouring. I bless the empty wallet, for it is no longer barren, but ready. I bless the empty purse, for it is no longer lacking, but receptive. I say again, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. I do not concern myself with delay. Delay is but a testing of vibration. Delay is not denial. Delay is the invitation to remain unwavering. And I do not waver. I do not shrink. I do not speak the language of doubt. I speak truth. I speak law. I speak faith that moves mountains and parts the Red Sea. The same God that rained manna from heaven now rains provision into my wallet. The same Spirit that fed 5,000 now multiplies what I hold. And the miracle of multiplication begins with my mouth. I speak the word. My wallet is full. My wallet is favored. My wallet is chosen. My wallet draws money from the north, south, east, and west. My wallet is magnetic with divine intelligence. My wallet is blessed in the city and blessed in the field. My wallet receives deposits from sources known and unknown. My wallet is never forgotten. My wallet is never denied. My wallet is never empty in divine mind. And what is true in divine mind must become true in manifestation. That which I decree with conviction shall be established unto me. My spoken word plants the seed. My unwavering faith waters the soil. My gratitude calls forth the harvest. I remain in high vibration. I dwell in the house of faith. I trust the law that never fails. The law of supply. The law of circulation. The law of spoken word. These laws are my covenant. Therefore I return again to the truth that has already been declared. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. This is not idle speech. This is not wishing. This is not mere hope. This is creation. This is alignment. This is spiritual science. My voice echoes in the ethers, and the ethers respond. My word shapes the substance, and the substance obeys. My vibration sends the signal, and wealth answers the call. There is no power in conditions. There is no truth in limitation. There is only one power, one source, one truth, and that is God. God is my supply. God is my bank. God is my circulation, and the God within me declares, all that the Father hath is mine. I accept that. I rejoice in it. I rest in it. I proclaim it now and forever. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. and none of these things move me. I now go deeper in truth, for truth is always simple, always sure, always eternal. I say again, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet, and this magnetism is not of man, but of spirit. It is not effort, but energy, not force, but faith, for what I believe about my wallet becomes the law of its substance. If I say it is poor, it remains poor. If I say it is blessed, it becomes a channel of blessing. The wallet itself holds no power, but the word I speak over it sets the law in motion. As I bless, I multiply. As I affirm, I magnetize. As I speak, I shape. The outer responds to the inner. The visible conforms to the invisible. What is seen bends to what is spoken. I do not adjust my belief to fit what I see. I adjust what I see by speaking what I believe. I say it boldly and without fear. My wallet is rich in vibration. My wallet is radiant with wealth. My wallet holds the fragrance of favor and the energy of expansion. The law is exact. It gives to each man according to his belief. If I believe in struggle, I receive it. If I believe in overflow, it comes forth. If I believe that my wallet is powerful, then the money must appear, the door must open, the check must arrive, the channel must be revealed. I do not need to know how, I only need to know the word, and I know the word. I say again with sacred rhythm, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. It attracts gold, because I have spoken gold into it. It attracts overflow, because I have not feared giving. It attracts plenty, because I have made peace with prosperity. I do not wrestle with increase. I do not resist supply. I do not apologize for abundance. I walk in it. I speak it. I wear it like a robe of royalty. The field hears me. The ethers know my tone. The law records my decree. I do not cry to be heard. I do not beg to be seen. I do not hustle to be filled. I speak. And it is done unto me as I have believed. The word is the worker. The word is the key. The word is the magnet. And so I repeat it again. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. I do not keep money away through low thoughts and words. I do not say money is hard. I do not say it's not enough. I do not say I can't afford. These are false beliefs, lies from the realm of illusion. I replace them now with sacred affirmations of truth. Money flows to me with ease. Supply is unlimited. My wallet is overflowing. My purchasing power is great. Divine resources meet every demand. My wallet is under grace and not under law, and as I speak it, I feel it. I feel the current of wealth move through me. I feel the presence of provision surround me. I feel the energy of ease and delight. I do not struggle for what is mine. I do not strive where I should rest. I rest in knowing. I walk in assurance. I speak in power. I receive in joy. I take my wallet now and declare, you are not empty. You are not lacking. You are not forgotten. You are filled by divine right. You are overflowing with riches. You are the sacred carrier of my good. You are the instrument of generosity, the vessel of provision, the channel of miracles, and the vibration now grows. The magnetism now amplifies, the attraction now expands. The more I bless, the more I receive. The more I believe, the more I witness. The more I declare, the more I draw forth. And so I do not stop declaring. I do not stop praising. I do not stop affirming. I say it once more with the full force of divine knowing. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. This is not a wish. This is not imagination. This is law, and the law is always working. Whether I speak in fear or in faith, it works. I choose faith. I choose blessing. I choose truth. And I choose to believe in the wealth of God flowing through all things, even my wallet. As I walk through the day, I bless every transaction. I give thanks for every bill. I speak increase over every receipt. I declare divine circulation in every purchase, every gift, every exchange, for money flows in divine order. And I am always in the flow. My wallet is proof of my alignment. My wallet reflects my vibration. My wallet bears witness to my words. And I speak again. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. And none of these things move me. I now move deeper into the unseen truth that governs the visible world. The supply you seek is not out there. It is within, and it is spoken into form. You are not a beggar before fate. You are the mouthpiece of God, and the tongue is a creative instrument. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Therefore I say again, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet, and my tongue has decreed it so. Every time I speak the word of prosperity, I build a magnetic field around my wallet. I surround it with the vibration of increase. I seal it in the certainty of divine right. This is no idle saying. This is spiritual architecture. I am building form from the formless. I am calling those things which be not as though they were. For the word spoken in faith draws from the great warehouse of substance and deposits it into time and space. I do not declare someday. I say now. I do not say if it's meant to be. I say it is mine by divine right. I do not ask permission from the world to prosper. I claim my inheritance from the one who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. My wallet, though small in size, is mighty in meaning, for it is a symbol of the place where spirit meets form, a place where the invisible steps into visibility. I declare now over the listener, your wallet is blessed. Your wallet is powerful. Your wallet is not a container of lack, but a conduit of plenty. Your wallet responds to your words, and your words are saturated with faith. Your wallet is now a magnet for unexpected income, surprising favor, sudden promotion, and unusual streams of financial release. Say it with me now. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. Not just occasionally, not just when the world allows it, but always, constantly, continually. As long as I hold the thought, as long as I speak the word, as long as I stand in truth, the field must respond. I am never denied. I am never too late. I am never outside the blessing. I am always aligned, always heard, always answered. I do not allow the voice of the world to cancel the vibration of heaven. I do not rehearse what man says about inflation or cost or hardship. I rehearse what Spirit says: all things are yours, ask and it shall be given. Before they call I will answer. These are not merely words of comfort, they are laws in motion, divine guarantees, eternal contracts. My wallet is now a place of prophecy, a place of fulfillment, a place where seed becomes harvest and word becomes wealth. I bless it now with the blessing of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I bless it with the overflow of the widow's oil and the abundance of the fishes and loaves. I bless it with the riches of Solomon and the favor of Joseph. My wallet contains the vibration of all these stories, and the law knows no limitation of time. The past is no barrier, the present is no obstacle. The future is already forming in my favor. My wallet holds proof that I have spoken the word and the word is working. I do not measure with the eye, I measure with faith. I do not wait to feel rich before I claim it. I speak the richness first. I do not wait to see a harvest before I bless it. I bless the seed and I water it with gratitude. And so I speak again with holy boldness. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet, not because of luck, not because of effort, but because I have aligned with law, I have spoken truth, I have released faith, and I have let go of fear. I no longer ask how shall I afford. I say how shall I not when God is my source. I no longer say this is too much. I say this is already covered by unseen supply, for the Lord is my banker. The Holy Spirit is my financial counselor. The Christ within is my abundance. The Word is my deposit. The tithe is my opening. The praise is my proof. The wallet is the ground and my speech is the seed. The harvest is inevitable. Everywhere I go, my wallet is radiating supply. It draws to me divine appointments, divine compensation, divine increase. It is not I who must chase the money. It is the money that now seeks me, for I am the one who has spoken the word, and the word has gone forth and will not return void. And so I end this section with repetition that seals the vibration into your very soul. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. This is the truth. This is the law. This is the unfolding. And none of these things move me. The word has gone forth. The magnetism has been set. The law has been activated. And I say again with full authority, my wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. The law does not forget. The field does not sleep. The universe does not ignore the one who speaks from alignment. Every utterance spoken in truth returns multiplied. Every blessing placed upon your wallet shall press outward until it touches the very corners of your life. I now anchor this truth into the depths of your being. You are not separate from supply. You are one with it. There is no delay in divine mind. There is no distance in spirit. The moment you speak the word, it is heard. The moment you bless the wallet, it is filled. The moment you release fear, the floodgates of provision open. You need not strive. You need not beg. You need only to believe, to speak, and to rest in the faith that the law is already working on your behalf. I declare now to all who listen, Your wallet is a spiritual magnet for divine increase. Let the illusion of lack be dissolved. Let the lie of limitation be silenced. Let the fear of not enough be cast into the outer darkness where it cannot return. For your truth is abundance. Your truth is overflow. Your truth is that of the righteous, and it is written, "The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree, and in famine they shall be satisfied." Speak it now with me. My wallet is never empty. My wallet is never lacking. My wallet is never forgotten. My wallet is a beacon of wealth, drawing all forms of good toward me by divine right. I give thanks for the unseen hands that guide provision. I give thanks for the perfect timing of spirit. I give thanks that everything I need is already moving toward me now. The supply is not coming, it is here. The riches are not delayed, they are unfolding. The wallet is not idle, it is active, charged, vibrating with the energy of expectancy and fulfillment. I no longer look at it with worry. I look at it with praise. I no longer open it with fear. I open it with faith. I no longer carry it in lack. I carry it in certainty. For I know what I have spoken. I know the law I have invoked. I know the truth I have declared. And so I close this spiritual journey with the power of repetition, the sacred seal of spoken command. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. My wallet attracts wealth like a magnet. I speak it, I believe it, I receive it. The field has heard me. The law is exact. The supply is secure, and my word does not return void. I rest in divine order. I rejoice in divine provision. I walk in divine magnetism, and none of these things move me.
Every word we speak is a decree. It is a seed dropped into the fertile soil of the invisible. In the great game of life, spirit plays no favorites. It responds not to fear or struggle, but to command, to certainty, to word made law. When man aligns his spoken word with divine mind, mountains move, doors open, and riches pour forth. I once lived as many do, entangled in appearances, mistaking shadows for substance. Lack, limitation, and delay seemed to block every turn. But I learned a great secret. Man's only enemy is the doubt he harbors, the fear he shelters, the false belief that he must toil for his good. Divine supply is ever present, awaiting only the spoken word to call it forth. One day, in the silence of my soul, I declared, I am a multi-millionaire. Not I will be, not I hope to be, but I am. I spoke it not as fantasy, but as fact. I refused to argue with appearances. The bank account did not matter, nor did the opinions of others. I stood firm in the knowledge that there is no power but God, and God operates through my word. Every affirmation I spoke was law unto itself. There is gold dust in the air for me. My ships come in over calm seas. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I did not chase wealth. I called it. I blessed it. I gave thanks for it before it arrived, and in the invisible it began to form. Opportunities arrived unannounced. Ideas burned like lamps in my mind. Divine channels opened where there once were walls, for the law does not fail. As surely as spring follows winter, what you speak with faith must manifest. I became a multi-millionaire the moment I spoke it into law, not when the figures showed in my account, but when I knew it in my soul. That knowing, that unwavering word, is the key that unlocks all treasure houses. Let this be your lesson and your liberty. Stop speaking of what you lack. Declare what you desire as already yours. Say it with the authority of one who walks with God. Wealth is not withheld, it is only uncalled. Speak it now, speak it bold, speak it as law. The universe rushes to obey. The spoken word is law and shapes reality. This is a principle as old as time, yet as misunderstood as the very breath that utters it. Words are not merely sound vibrations passing through air. They are spiritual commands that summon the unseen into form. In the hidden architecture of life, words are the blueprint. Each syllable we speak becomes a decree, an instruction to the invisible forces that govern the material world. When we speak with authority, clarity, and conviction, we set in motion the very wheels of manifestation. What most fail to understand is that every word, be it idle, casual, or deliberate, is planting seeds into the garden of the subconscious mind. And what is planted must eventually bloom, for that is the law. The subconscious, that silent builder behind the curtain, does not discriminate between truth and falsehood. It simply accepts what is repeatedly spoken and believed. If you say, "I am poor," it will fashion circumstances to match that statement. If you declare, "I am blessed," it will move heaven and earth to reflect it. You become what you affirm, because what you affirm becomes the law under which you live. In spiritual truth, we are not victims of fate but authors of reality. Our words write the script of our lives. Every affirmation, every declaration, every complaint, every praise, it all becomes law the moment it is accepted by the subconscious and echoed by the universe. The law, being impersonal and precise, simply carries out what you command. Like a faithful servant, it does not question, it does not delay, it executes. To say, "The spoken word is law," is to recognize the divine creative force behind utterance. The ancient scriptures echo this truth. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That is not mere poetry. It is revelation. The Word creates. The Word is the first cause. Before anything is seen, it must be spoken. All substance begins in the realm of the unseen and is drawn forth through the Word. This is why silence can hold no power until it breaks into speech. Thought, though powerful, does not carry the same directive force until it is spoken aloud, energized by belief. When you say, "I can't afford it," you are commanding poverty. When you say, "I am always late," you are writing tardiness into your timeline. When you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," you are enshrining misfortune in the temple of your life. These are not just passing remarks. They are spells, incantations cast without awareness, yet bearing weight all the same. Every word carries frequency, and that frequency is matched by the universe without fail. Consider the difference between one who constantly says, "I am tired, I am sick, I am unlucky," and another who declares, "I am radiant, I am whole, I am divinely guided." Both individuals are speaking laws into existence. One shapes a life of limitation, the other shapes a life of unfolding good. The difference lies not in external circumstances, but in internal decree. The outer world only reflects what has already been legislated by the inner word. There is immense power in realizing that nothing external has authority over you unless you give it that authority with your word. You may face apparent facts, debt, illness, rejection. But if you speak only truth, if you speak only from the highest law, those facts begin to dissolve. Facts are mutable, truth is eternal. The truth is that divine supply knows no lack. The truth is that you are whole, prosperous, radiant, and powerful. The truth is that you are a co-creator with the infinite. And the moment you begin to speak from that truth, life rearranges itself to support it. Even casual speech must be watched with care. The tongue, though small, can stir great forces. To say, "I'm afraid I'll fail," even in jest, is to open the gate for failure to enter. To say, "I always mess things up," is to etch failure into your pattern. Words, repeated enough, become grooves in consciousness. They turn into beliefs, and beliefs turn into habits, and habits shape destiny. If you wish to know what your future holds, examine the words you speak today. They are the architects of tomorrow. Affirmations are not mere positive thinking, they are acts of creation. To say, "I am," is to speak the name of God, the I am presence within. What follows those two words is infused with power. I am strong, I am wealthy, I am free. These are not empty phrases, they are spiritual commands. When spoken with faith and feeling, they override past programming and install new laws into the subconscious. The law of attraction, the law of increase, the law of right action, all begin to operate on your behalf. But this power is neutral. It does not favor good or evil, abundance or lack. It simply obeys. Just as fire can warm a home or burn it to the ground, so too can the spoken word build a life of beauty or destroy it with carelessness. To become conscious of speech is to become conscious of power. One must be vigilant. One must learn to bridle the tongue, not in repression, but in mastery. Let every word spoken be a seed of truth, a spark of divine intention. To speak deliberately is to live deliberately. To choose words aligned with higher law is to anchor heaven on earth. It does not matter what has gone before. The past has no power once you begin to speak with authority. Say it now. I am free from all limitation. I am one with the infinite substance. I speak the word and it goes forth to fulfill its perfect work. These are not affirmations for someday. They are spiritual contracts, activated in the moment they are believed. Miracles begin not with action, but with utterance. The right word spoken at the right time can open doors no man can shut. One phrase, if uttered with faith, can dissolve years of stagnation. This is why spiritual masters speak little, but when they do, their words carry weight. They understand that the tongue is a creative force, not to be wasted. Every time you declare your good, you hammer it into form. Every time you deny lack, you loosen its grip. Every time you speak from power, you awaken that power within. Life does not happen to you. It answers you. It answers the word you speak with feeling. It reflects back what you declare as law. There is no such thing as a neutral word. All language is either building or breaking. When you say, "Things always go well for me," the universe reorders itself to support that claim. When you say, "I attract wealth with ease," channels open. When you say, "I walk in favor," people are moved to bless you, systems align to assist you. Not because the world changes, but because your law has changed. This is the forgotten magic, the alchemy of utterance. In every age, the wise have guarded this secret, that words are not descriptions but decrees. They do not describe reality, they create it. Whether spoken in whisper or shout, in private thought or public prayer, every word is a wand. Use it with precision. Use it with purpose. Use it with praise. Let no careless phrase pass your lips, for the law does not sleep, nor does it forget. Declare desires as present facts, not future hopes. This is the secret to manifestation that most overlook. When you speak of your good as already yours, you step into alignment with the creative power of the universe. There is no creative force in wishing, wanting, or hoping. These are the language of delay. The law does not operate on hope, it operates on conviction. To say, "I will be rich," keeps riches forever on the horizon. But to declare, "I am rich now," even if appearances suggest otherwise, activates the unseen machinery that brings the statement into form. The subconscious mind, which is the builder of your experience, responds to now. It responds to certainty. It is not moved by longing or possibility, it is commanded by declaration. When you say, "I will have success," the subconscious hears, "Not yet," and delays action. When you say, "Success is mine now," the subconscious sets to work immediately, drawing people, ideas, and opportunities to fulfill the claim. Every statement you make in the present tense impresses itself deeper into your belief system, reshaping your patterns of thought, and in turn, your outer world. The truth is, all that you desire already exists in the invisible realm. You are not creating something from nothing. You are aligning with that which already is. The infinite is complete. Every idea, every opportunity, every dollar, every connection you seek is already present on the invisible plane. Your job is not to struggle or to chase. It is to claim. And to claim something, you must speak of it as if it is already yours. I am loved. I am whole. I am wealthy. These statements do not describe your current outer condition. They declare your spiritual truth, and the outer must conform. When you speak in the language of, "I will," "I hope," "I want," you place your desire outside of yourself. You affirm its distance from you. But the law responds only to what you accept as true. It does not deliver what you wish for. It delivers what you believe you already have. That is why faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is not wishing. Faith is knowing. Faith says, "It is mine now." That knowing, spoken with authority, shifts the entire pattern of your life. To declare your desire as a present fact is not to lie. It is to speak the higher truth. The higher truth is not found in appearances, but in spiritual reality. You may not yet see the evidence of your wealth, but in truth the wealth is already yours. You have access to it now. The moment you accept it as a present fact, the channels of supply open. The law does not require time to deliver. It only requires belief. Time is only needed for the rearrangement of outer conditions. The inner shift happens the moment you declare your good as now. This is why so many remain stuck in cycles of hoping and waiting. They believe their good lies in the future, and so it does. The law is perfectly obedient. Whatever you declare becomes law for you. Say, "It will come," and it will always be coming. Say, "It is here," and it begins to show up. Not because your words are magic spells, but because they activate a deeper law of assumption. What you assume to be true becomes your reality. It is not about repeating empty affirmations. It is about inhabiting the feeling of your desire fulfilled and speaking from that place. If you truly believed your success was here now, how would you speak? How would you walk? How would you act? When you begin to live from that version of yourself, reality bends to meet you. You must become the person who already has what you desire. That becoming begins with the spoken word. Speech is the bridge between inner belief and outer manifestation. When you speak your desire as present, you reinforce your faith. Each time you say, "I am," instead of "I will be," you rewire your mind to expect your good. You train your consciousness to accept the invisible as real. This is the great work of manifestation, to see with the eye of spirit, to feel with the heart of knowing, and to speak with the voice of command. The universe cannot deny what you claim with conviction. It responds with absolute precision to the vibration of your word. But the vibration must be consistent. You cannot declare wealth one moment and speak of lack the next. You must persist in your assumption. You must treat your desire as real, even when evidence has not yet caught up. This is not pretending. It is creating. Pretending is hoping. Creating is knowing. Let your words match your vision. Let your declarations affirm your divine right to all good. Say, "I am abundant in every way." Say, "I am aligned with divine opportunity." Say, "I am already living in my answered prayer." These statements draw the invisible into visibility. They plant the seed of belief, which the subconscious then nourishes into manifestation. Every word you speak builds a new pattern in your consciousness. Speak enough truth, and the truth will become your experience. It does not matter how things appear. The law does not work by sight, it works by spirit. Declare your health when your body feels weak. Declare your success when your efforts seem to fail. Declare your love when you feel alone. Because your word, spoken in the present tense, overrides temporary facts with eternal truth. Truth is not found in the world of effects. It is found in the realm of cause. And the cause is your word. To live in truth is to declare your divine identity in every moment. You are not poor trying to become rich. You are not broken trying to be healed. You are not lost trying to be found. You are whole now. You are wealthy now. You are chosen now. Speak from this identity. Claim it, own it. Let your word be law. Let your mouth be a channel for divine creation. Let your voice shape the world you were born to live in. Do not wait for proof. Speak your good into being. The proof will follow. But it cannot precede the declaration. You must go first. You must decide. You must stand in faith. Say, "This is who I am. This is what I have. This is what I live." Let your word be final. Let your word be fearless. Let your word reflect the truth that your good is not coming. It is already here. Ignore appearances and trust divine supply. Appearances are the shadow realm. They reflect only what has been created by past thought, past word, past belief. They are not the source of reality, but the echo. What you see with the natural eye is merely the outcome of yesterday's consciousness. To base your belief on appearances is to anchor yourself in delay, fear, and limitation. But when you turn your attention away from the seen and place your trust in divine supply, you begin to operate by spiritual law, not by material evidence. Divine supply is infinite, invisible, and unchanging. It is never depleted, never delayed, and never disturbed. It exists here and now in perfect fullness, awaiting your recognition and claim. Everything you desire already exists in the unseen realm, in the storehouse of the infinite. There is no lack in spirit. There is no shortage in the kingdom. But to access this supply, you must look beyond the temporary illusion of lack and affirm the reality of your abundance. This is the path of mastery, to walk through the valley of seeming nothing and declare, "All is mine now." The great mistake is to judge by appearances, to look at an empty bank account and say, "I am broke." To look at a quiet phone and say, "I am forgotten." To see rejection and say, "I am unworthy." These statements are not truths. They are conclusions drawn from illusion. Appearances may show you a temporary condition, but they cannot tell you who you are or what is possible. You are not limited by what your eyes see. You are limited only by what your mind believes. And your mind can be renewed at any moment by shifting your focus from form to source. Divine supply is not found in your paycheck, your clients, your business, or your family. These are channels, not sources. Channels may open or close, but source is eternal. The moment you confuse the channel for the source, you become fearful, reactive, and dependent. But when you anchor yourself in the knowing that divine supply operates through infinite channels, you release all attachment and fear. You trust that if one door closes, another opens. If one avenue is blocked, a greater way is revealed. You are never without supply, only without recognition. Faith is the substance that bridges the invisible to the visible. It is not a passive hope, but an active trust in divine intelligence. Faith says, "I do not need to see it to know it is here." Faith declares abundance when appearances scream lack. Faith acts as if the supply is already in hand. This is not denial, it is spiritual accuracy. The senses may inform you of temporary facts, but only Spirit reveals the eternal truth. And the eternal truth is this: God is your source, and God is unfailing. Many delay their good because they wait for appearances to improve before they believe. But this is the reverse of how the law works. It is belief that changes appearances, not the other way around. You must first claim abundance in the unseen, and then the seen will rearrange itself. Say, "Divine supply meets all my needs richly and immediately." Say it when the cupboard is full, and say it when the cupboard is bare. Your word is law, not your condition. Those who are ruled by appearances live in fear, anxiety, and limitation. They are tossed by every change in circumstance. One day they are joyful, the next day discouraged. But those who are rooted in spiritual law live in stability, peace, and certainty. They know that nothing external can touch the truth of their being. They live by inner decree, not outer evidence. And because of this, appearances begin to conform to their word, rather than their word conforming to appearances. Divine supply is not a future promise. It is a present reality. It is not something you earn. It is something you claim. You do not need to beg for it, strive for it, or compete for it. You need only align your consciousness with it. And that alignment begins by turning your back on fear-based appearances and declaring the truth. Say, "I walk in the rhythm of abundance." Say, "Every bill is paid with ease and surplus." Say, "The riches of the universe flow to me now." Do not wait for proof. Your word is the proof. You must train your eyes to see beyond the visible. When others speak of recession, you speak of expansion. When others panic, you declare peace. When others cry lack, you affirm overflow. You are not governed by the world, you are governed by the word. And the word declares that your supply is from an infinite source. You are heir to the kingdom. You are backed by spiritual substance. You are supported by a law that never fails. To ignore appearances is not to deny the facts. It is to transcend them. It is to recognize that facts can change, but truth remains. It is to hold fast to the knowing that divine supply is always seeking expression through you. Even in the driest desert, there is water beneath the surface. Even in the darkest night, the sun is waiting to rise. Appearances are the fog before the breakthrough. Hold steady. Speak the truth. Stand firm in the law. Gratitude is the great multiplier of supply. Give thanks for the unseen good as if it were already in your hands. Say, I bless the substance of God in all its forms. Say, I rejoice in the flow of prosperity. Your gratitude lifts your vibration and opens the gate for more. Do not grumble about what appears to be missing. Praise what is coming. Praise makes the invisible visible. Praise turns the seed into the harvest. Praise activates the law. Divine supply flows through faith, through expectation, through joy. It does not flow through worry, doubt, or desperation. Worry signals disbelief in the source. Doubt chokes the pipeline. Desperation repels the very good you seek. But joy signals confidence. Faith attracts the substance. Calm expectation magnetizes the channels. Speak with the tone of assurance, not fear. Declare your abundance as if it is inevitable, because in truth it is. The world will always present evidence of lack. News headlines, bank statements, gossip, delay. But these are only tests of your focus. Will you bow to the false idol of appearance, or will you remain loyal to the truth of supply? The choice is made moment by moment, word by word. Every time you affirm, I am provided for in all ways, you pierce the illusion. Every time you say, my source is limitless, you realign with truth. You are not a beggar at the gate. You are a child of the infinite. You are not scraping for scraps. You are drawing from the abundance of spirit. You are not subject to economic trends. You are governed by spiritual law. Divine supply is your inheritance, your design, your truth. The more you affirm it, the more it flows. The more you praise it, the more it multiplies. The more you ignore appearances, the more you rise above them. Wealth manifests through unwavering faith and affirmation. It is not hustle that unlocks the storehouse of supply, but the steady conviction that what is yours cannot be withheld. Faith is the substance, the inner gold from which all outer gold is formed. Without it, words fall flat, actions scatter, and results remain elusive. But when faith is anchored deep within the soul, it magnetizes wealth from the invisible to the visible, forming it out of the very ethers. True wealth begins as a spiritual condition before it becomes a material result, and that condition is formed and fortified by word spoken in belief. Affirmation is the spoken law of what is spiritually true. It is not wishful thinking or empty repetition. It is the deliberate announcement of divine truth, expressed with confidence and authority. When you affirm, I am wealthy, you are not describing what the eyes see. You are declaring what the spirit knows. You are announcing the unseen reality that exists beyond time and circumstance. You are writing a new script into the subconscious mind and commanding the law to make it manifest. Every true affirmation is a seed. It may not break the soil immediately, but it will sprout, grow, and flourish if nurtured by unwavering faith. Unwavering faith is not shaken by delay. It does not falter in the face of contradiction. It does not argue with bank accounts or invoices. It knows that these are merely outer shadows, echoing past beliefs. Faith walks forward even when the path is hidden. It declares abundance even when appearances suggest otherwise. It holds to the affirmation as a lifeline, knowing that the spoken word is shaping the conditions that will soon appear. This is not blind hope, it is spiritual certainty. And with this certainty, wealth cannot help but follow. Wealth is not something to chase. It is something to claim. When you chase money, you affirm that it is separate from you, distant, withheld. But when you claim wealth through affirmation and hold that claim with faith, you align yourself with the law of supply. The law does not withhold. It responds, it mirrors. If your inner state says, I am rich, the law brings circumstances, people, ideas, and events to match it. But if your inner voice says, I need, I lack, I fear, then the law echoes that too. Faith must be steady, not occasional. Affirmation must be consistent, not conditional. It is not enough to say, I am wealthy. once and then look fearfully at your surroundings. You must stand in that declaration again and again until it becomes the foundation of your being. The moment you speak it, the law begins to move. But if you contradict your word with worry, you slow the process. You dig up the seed before it can grow. This is why unwavering faith is essential. It sustains the vibration long enough for wealth to find its way to you. Affirmations are not meant to convince the universe. They are meant to convince you. The universe already agrees with your abundance. Spirit already knows your wealth is true, but your mind may not yet believe it. So you speak the affirmation not to beg, not to wish, but to install a new belief. Every repetition strengthens the new pattern. Every declaration shifts your vibration closer to alignment. And once your inner state matches the wealth you seek, it must appear. The outer is compelled to reflect the inner law you have accepted. Wealth does not come from force. It comes from alignment. And alignment is created by word and faith. When you say, "Money flows to me with ease," and you believe it, your entire being becomes a magnet for prosperity. Ideas come, resources show up, people are moved on your behalf. You are led to right action. But if you say, "I don't know how I'll make ends meet," even in passing, you declare a law that the universe honors. There is no room for casual doubt when calling forth abundance. You must speak only what you desire, and do so with unwavering certainty. Unwavering faith is not loud. It is calm. It is not frantic or forceful. It is still, grounded, and sure. It does not need to see proof, because it knows the proof is forming. It holds the vision. It holds the word. It does not flinch. This is the faith that moves mountains. This is the faith that turns thoughts into gold. When you combine this faith with your spoken word, you become unstoppable. The gates of wealth open because you have met the spiritual requirement belief backed by voice. Every moment you declare wealth, even when there is none in sight, you expand your capacity to receive. Every time you say, "I prosper in all I do," even when things appear stagnant, you invite the law to activate. But the invitation must be steady. You cannot invite wealth and then talk about lack. You cannot affirm prosperity and then worry aloud. Faith and affirmation must be in agreement. When they are, your vibration becomes irresistible to the good you seek. The world trains people to wait for evidence. Spiritual law asks you to create the evidence by first believing. The world says, "When I see it, I'll believe it." But Spirit says, "When you believe it, you will see it." Affirmation is how you speak what you believe. Faith is how you hold to it, regardless of time or appearance. Together, they form the perfect creative formula. And with that formula, wealth cannot be kept from you. The nature of wealth is responsive. It flows where it is welcomed, where it is spoken of with reverence and confidence. It avoids those who resent it, fear it, or doubt its arrival. But to those who affirm it with joy and receive it in thought before it appears in form, it rushes. It responds to the open channel. It responds to the clear declaration. It responds to the vibration of "I have," not "I need." You must train yourself to speak wealth as your normal. Let it be the language of your life. Say, "Money is a divine idea, and it flows to me now." Say, "Everything I touch prospers." Say, "I am surrounded by financial increase." These are not fantasies. They are spiritual realities activated by your voice. The more you say them, the more you believe them. The more you believe them, the more the world reflects them. Do not let the outer world silence your word. Let your words silence the outer world. When bills come, bless them and declare, "There is always more than enough." When a job ends, say, "Something greater is on its way." When plans fall through, affirm, "I am divinely guided to higher prosperity." You are not reacting to life. You are creating it with your declaration and sustained faith. All that you desire is already here in form or in essence. The difference between those who receive and those who delay is not luck, effort, or education. It is faith in the word. Say it, believe it, stand by it. Let the world catch up to the truth you hold. Let your affirmation go ahead of you and prepare the way. Wealth listens. Wealth obeys. Wealth manifests for those who speak with conviction and believe without wavering. The universe responds to bold, aligned command. It does not respond to hesitation, doubt, or vague requests. It does not move for the one who whispers their good in fear. It does not activate itself for the soul who asks timidly, who hopes cautiously, who waits politely. The law is precise, and it requires precision in return. A bold, clear, spoken word, aligned with the truth of spirit, is the ignition key to manifestation. When you command with certainty, not arrogance but spiritual authority, the entire universe rushes to obey. To command is not to force. It is not to demand from ego or desperation. It is to know the law, to trust the law, and to speak the word as one who understands their rightful place in the divine order. You are not separate from the creative force. You are an extension of it. And because you are one with it, your word, when aligned with higher law, becomes a decree. This is the true meaning of dominion, not control over others, but authority over your own world, your own conditions, your own atmosphere. You do not beg for what is yours by divine inheritance. You claim it. A bold command is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet, clear, and unwavering. It comes from a deep place of knowing. When you declare, "This is mine now," you are not trying to convince anyone. You are affirming what is already true in spirit. The invisible realm is already holding your good. Your command does not create it, but calls it forth. The clarity of your word determines the speed of its arrival. The more aligned your command is with spiritual truth, the more swiftly the universe responds. Alignment is essential. A command that comes from fear, from grasping, from lack, carries no power. It is muddied, confused, contradictory. But a command that arises from alignment with divine truth, that you are one with infinite supply, one with perfect health, one with divine love, carries the full force of spiritual authority. It is not born from ego, it is born from oneness. You are not commanding to dominate life. You are commanding to cooperate with it, to allow it to flow as it was always meant to through you. There is no creative power in begging. The universe does not respond to pleading. It responds to conviction. It responds to law. It responds to the soul who knows that the spoken word, infused with belief and aligned with truth, must manifest. This is why you must speak your word as if it cannot fail. I am now receiving all that is mine by divine right. The perfect opportunity presents itself now. My income increases constantly and effortlessly. These are not hopes, they are laws spoken into form. The law is always listening, always responding. It is impersonal and exact. It does not judge the content of your command. It only fulfills it. If you say, "Everything is falling apart," the law agrees. If you say, "Everything is working in my favor," the law agrees. If you speak chaos, you create chaos. If you speak order, abundance, and peace, you create the conditions for those qualities to manifest. You are the legislator of your experience. Every word you speak becomes instruction. The boldness of your command reflects the boldness of your belief. If you hesitate when speaking your word, if you second-guess your desire, if you qualify your affirmations with "if" or "maybe," you dilute your power. The universe cannot respond to an unclear instruction. But when you say, "I am healthy, I am whole, I am thriving," and you say it with the energy of conviction, the law begins moving immediately to align your outer life with that inner truth. The key is to command from identity. You are not someone trying to become wealthy. You are wealth expressing itself. You are not someone chasing success. You are success embodied. You are not someone begging for healing. You are health incarnate. Speak from the identity of "I am," not "I hope to be." Your identity is the source of your command. When you say, "I am," you activate the highest spiritual law. What follows those words becomes a decree. The universe does not question it, it mirrors it. There is no virtue in shrinking, in minimizing your desires, in softening your speech to make others comfortable. The universe honors the bold, the clear, the faithful. Your boldness does not offend. It signals readiness. It signals trust. It signals that you are no longer negotiating with life, but creating with it. Boldness is not aggressiveness, it is confidence in divine law. When you are bold in your declarations, you are saying, I know who I am and what I'm entitled to as a child of the infinite. Practice your bold command daily. Do not wait until crisis forces you to act. Speak your word every morning as law. This is a day of miracles. Everything I touch prospers. I am divinely guided and abundantly supplied. Speak these truths not as hopes, but as statements of reality. Let your voice carry the tone of certainty. Let your energy say, it is already done. The spoken word, when issued from this place, alters the atmosphere. It breaks stagnation. It rearranges matter. It creates new pathways and dissolves old blocks. Your environment is a mirror of your command. If you do not like what you see, do not argue with the picture. Change the word that painted it. The universe does not care how long a pattern has existed. It responds in the now. One bold command, spoken from faith, can reverse years of limitation. But it must be spoken as law, not suggestion. You are not hoping the universe will cooperate. You are cooperating with a law that is already operating. This is why prayer, when done correctly, is not pleading but commanding. True spiritual prayer is not, please, may I have. It is, thank you. It is done. It is declaration. It is law. The word is spoken in the invisible, and the form follows in the visible. Do not ask, declare. Do not beg, claim. Do not wait, command. This is your power. This is your privilege. The universe is already prepared to respond. It only waits for your clear instruction. Repetition strengthens your word. The more you speak it, the more real it becomes. The more real it becomes, the more your belief anchors it into form. You do not repeat to convince God. You repeat to convince yourself. You repeat until your inner atmosphere changes, until your vibration shifts, until your subconscious accepts the new law. Then, without effort, without strain, your outer life reflects the new order. It becomes inevitable. Do not dilute your word to fit appearances. Appearances are temporary. The word is eternal. When you command wealth, joy, love, or healing, you are not ignoring facts. You are overriding them with truth. Speak what you desire, not what you fear. Declare what you want, not what you lack. Let your words be strong, simple, and clear. I am ready. I am worthy. I am already living my good. The universe responds not to your wish, but to your word. Not to your hesitation, but to your decision. Not to your desperation, but to your alignment with truth. Boldness signals to the law that you are no longer wavering. You have decided, you have claimed, you have spoken, and now the universe must obey. Not by favoritism, but by law. Not by chance, but by design. The power has never left you. It has only waited for you to rise and use it. When your command is bold and aligned, creation cannot help but follow. Beloved, I want you to hear me with your heart, not just your ears, because this truth will change the way you see yourself forever. There is a power resting on your tongue that could alter your entire life if you would dare to use it. The Bible declares, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and it does not say this lightly. It is not a poetic phrase, it is law. Every word that leaves your lips is a seed, and every seed brings forth a harvest. Some of you are living in fields of lack today, not because you are cursed, not because you are forgotten, but because of the words you have sown over time without even realizing it. You see, the world has taught women, especially women here in America, to hustle, to strive, to grind until they have nothing left to give. You've been taught to work harder, sleep less, worry more, and somehow prove yourself worthy of abundance. But God never designed life to work that way. He placed the answer in your mouth. And while you've been exhausting yourself trying to push open doors, heaven has been waiting for you to speak them open. Your voice is your wand, and with it, you are meant to call forth what already belongs to you. Look at your own life for a moment. How many times have you looked at a bill and sighed, "I'll never get ahead"? How often have you said to a friend, "I'm so broke," without realizing that your words are commanding your reality? You see, words are not just sounds, they are spiritual contracts. When you say, "I can't afford it," you have agreed with limitation. When you declare, Nothing ever works out for me. You are giving fear permission to shape your future. But when you speak life, heaven itself bends to respond. The Bible says in Isaiah that God's word will not return void, but will accomplish what it was sent to do. And beloved, when you speak His promises over your life, you are sending out a force that cannot fail. I am telling you today that you are not powerless. The enemy wants you to believe you are small, that you have no say in your future, but that is a lie. You were created in the image of God, and the same Spirit that hovered over the waters in Genesis dwells in you. When God said, "Let there be light," light came forth. When Jesus said, "Peace, be still," the storm obeyed Him. And when you, His daughter, declare, "I am blessed, I am favored, I am rich in every way," those words carry divine authority. They are backed by heaven. Let me ask you something. What if your breakthrough is not delayed because of money, or connections, or opportunities, but because of silence? What if the miracle you've been praying for is hovering over your life, waiting for you to speak it into manifestation? God has already given you the promises. He is waiting for you to enforce them. You do not need to beg Him for what He has already declared yours. Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Not, "I might not want." Not, "If I am good enough, I won't want." But, "I shall not want." This is your inheritance, and it is time to claim it. So I challenge you today, open your mouth. Start speaking life over every area of your existence. Over your home, your children, your business, your health, and your finances. Say, "Every need is met. Every bill is paid. I walk in abundance." Even if your bank account seems empty, speak as if it is full, because faith is the evidence of things not seen. Speak as if God's promises are already done, because they are. The moment you declare His truth, angels are released to perform it. Beloved, your voice is more powerful than the stock market. Your words carry more weight than any economy. Heaven is not shaken by inflation, recession, or uncertainty, but it is moved by faith, and faith is released through your mouth. That is why I call your voice your wand. It is the tool by which you shape your life. Stop using it to build prisons. Stop using it to rehearse fear. Use it to paint a picture of your destiny. Speak until your heart believes, and then speak some more. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are at the mercy of your own confession. Proverbs tells us that a man's belly shall be filled with the fruit of his lips, and your life will be filled with whatever your lips continually declare. Choose today to speak abundance. Choose to create wealth with your words. Choose to plant seeds of faith that will bloom into miracles. Your mouth is the doorway to your future. Guard it, use it, and watch as heaven rearranges itself to match your decree. Beloved, I want to speak directly to every woman listening to me right now. The mothers carrying the weight of the household, the wives standing in the gap for their families, the single women building dreams with tears and grit, the daughters who feel like they've been overlooked or undervalued. You were created in the image of God. You are not a mistake. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of the world's economy. You are an heir to heaven's abundance, and it is time to take your financial power back. For too long, women have been told to settle, to shrink, to accept lack as if it were humility. But poverty is not humility, poverty is bondage. Jesus said in John 10:10, "I have come that they might have life, and have it more abundantly." Abundance is your birthright. You were not created to live in fear of bills, fear of rent, fear of the future. That fear is not from God. It is the enemy's tool to keep you silent and defeated. But the moment you begin to open your mouth and declare God's promises over your life, everything begins to shift. Look at the Proverbs 31 woman. She is not timid or fearful. She is bold, she is wise, she is wealthy. Scripture says she considers a field and buys it. She is a woman of vision and power. She knows her worth and uses her gifts to bring increase to her household. And do you know what that tells me, beloved? It tells me that God has always intended for women to walk in authority, not just spiritually, but financially. You were not made to be crushed under debt, to feel ashamed of money, or to rely solely on someone else for provision. You are a vessel of divine creativity, and what flows through you has the power to bless generations. Some of you listening to me right now feel trapped in survival mode. You're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, tired of scraping by, tired of feeling like there's never enough. And maybe, somewhere deep down, you've started to believe this is just how life is. But hear me, that is a lie from the pit of hell. Your Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He is not limited. His resources are not running out. He is not looking at the state of the economy and wringing his hands in worry. Heaven's economy is overflowing, and as his daughter, you have full access. But you must rise up and claim it. That is why I am calling on you today, women of faith, to open your mouth and take your financial authority. You cannot wait for someone else to hand it to you. You cannot wait for a job to define your worth. You cannot wait for the world to validate your dreams. The kingdom is voice activated. You must speak it. You must decree it. You must see yourself as heaven sees you, chosen, favored, and empowered. There is a reason the enemy attacks women so fiercely. He knows that when a woman steps into her God-given authority, everything changes. The atmosphere of her home shifts. Her children grow up with confidence. Her marriage is strengthened. Her business flourishes. Her ministry expands. A woman walking in financial freedom is a weapon against the enemy's plans. That is why fear has tried to silence you. That is why doubt has whispered in your ear that you'll never have enough. But the Word of God says otherwise. The Word says you are blessed going in and blessed coming out. The Word says whatever you put your hands to shall prosper. The Word says you are more than a conqueror. Beloved, hear me, this is not about greed, this is about destiny. Money in the hands of a righteous woman feeds families, builds schools, funds missions, and changes communities. Wealth is not wicked, it is a tool, and in your hands it becomes a weapon for good. God is not glorified by your struggle. He is glorified when you walk in His promises. When people look at your life and see His provision, they will ask, "How is she thriving when others are falling apart?" And you will have the opportunity to point them to Him. It's time to stop apologizing for wanting more. It's time to stop feeling guilty for desiring financial stability. God placed that desire in you because He knows what He wants to do through you. Stop agreeing with smallness. Stop saying, "This is just how it is." Break that agreement today. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and declare, "I am a daughter of the King. I am blessed, I am favored, and wealth flows to me for His glory." From this day forward, you will not live as a victim of the world's economy. You will live as a citizen of heaven's economy. You will call in opportunities. You will call in divine connections. You will call in the ideas that will change everything for your family. You are not waiting on permission. Heaven has already given you authority. Rise up and take your power back. The kingdom is waiting for your voice. Beloved, listen closely, because this is where so many of God's daughters are trapped without even realizing it. The enemy's greatest trick is not always stealing your money, it is convincing you to agree with lack. Every time you say, "I can't afford it," every time you whisper, "We're just barely getting by," every time you declare, "This is just how life is," you sign a spiritual contract with poverty, and heaven cannot override what you consistently agree with. The Bible says in Amos 3:3, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" When you agree with lack, lack becomes your companion. When you agree with fear, fear takes root. But when you agree with God's promises, abundance has no choice but to come. Some of you have been speaking curses over your finances without even realizing it. You've repeated the story of struggle for so long that you've built a wall around yourself with your words. But today I am here as a prophetic voice to tell you, tear it down. Cancel every word that doesn't align with God's truth. Stop agreeing with the lie that there's not enough. Stop agreeing with the voice that says you're not worthy, not smart enough, not good enough to be blessed. The blood of Jesus has already qualified you for every blessing in the kingdom. It is not your job to earn abundance, it is your job to agree with it. You see, the spiritual realm responds to your agreement. In Matthew 18:19, Jesus said, "If two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them by my Father in heaven. Agreement is powerful. And right now, heaven is waiting for your agreement. The angels of the Lord are standing by, waiting for your command. They are not activated by fear, they are activated by faith. When you say, money is always hard to come by, you release words that empower lack. But when you say, I am supplied according to his riches in glory, you authorize heaven to deliver provision to your doorstep. Beloved, let me remind you of something. Your mouth is a creative force, not a commentary on your circumstances. The world wants you to think that speaking positively is foolish. They say, be realistic. But let me tell you what reality is. Reality is God's word, not your circumstances. God's word says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. It says, He will open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you will not have room enough to receive. It says, no good thing will He withhold from those who walk uprightly. That is your truth. That is your reality, and the only way to walk in it is to stop agreeing with anything less. When you speak fear, fear grows. When you speak lack, lack multiplies. But when you speak faith, faith rises up and brings you into alignment with divine order. Imagine your words as spiritual seeds. If you plant weeds, your garden will choke out your blessing. But if you plant truth, if you plant scripture, if you plant affirmations of abundance, your life will blossom like a well-watered garden. Beloved, stop letting fear use your mouth. Stop letting anxiety prophesy your future. Choose your words with intention. Speak life, speak wealth, speak increase. I know some of you are listening right now thinking, but Florence, I have been saying these things and nothing has changed. Hear me, faith is not magic. Faith is law. Just as it takes time for seeds to sprout, your words need time to bear fruit. That is why the Bible says, hold fast to your confession of faith. Don't speak abundance once, and then go back to speaking defeat. Make your words a daily discipline. Refuse to let negativity pass your lips. It is not enough to believe silently, you must speak. Your voice is your weapon. Your words are your shield. And let me tell you, this breaking agreement with lack is not just about words, it is about posture. Stop acting like a beggar when you are a daughter of the King. Lift your head, straighten your shoulders, and speak as if your Father owns the universe, because He does. Speak as if the windows of heaven are already open, because they are. Stop rehearsing your pain. Stop retelling the story of how hard life is. The more you repeat it, the deeper it roots in your spirit. Instead, declare a new story. I am walking in divine supply. Every resource I need is flowing to me. I lack no good thing. Today, I invite you to do something radical. Repent for every word of lack you've spoken. Cancel every agreement you've made with fear, and step into alignment with abundance. Say out loud, I break every covenant with poverty. I come into agreement with heaven's wealth. From this moment forward, my words are full of faith, my thoughts are full of peace, and my life is full of blessing. This declaration will open spiritual doors for you that no man can shut. Beloved, your words shape your world. Your agreement determines your atmosphere. Stop agreeing with lack and begin agreeing with life. Heaven is listening. Angels are listening. Your future is listening. Speak as if you know who you are, because you are not just a woman struggling to survive. You are a daughter of the Most High God, and abundance has always been your portion. Beloved, I want to give you something today that will not just inspire you for a moment, but transform your life for good. This is not a complicated ritual, not a religious performance. This is alignment with divine law. If you want to call money into your life, if you want to break out of cycles of fear and lack, you must make your words a daily habit. You see, faith is not a feeling, faith is a practice. And if you will discipline your tongue, you will unlock doors that no man can shut. I want you to begin every single morning with intentional words. When your eyes open, before you even reach for your phone, place your hand on your heart and whisper, I am aligned with divine abundance. I am supplied, I am blessed, and I am free. Let these words be the first seeds you plant each day. Your subconscious mind is tender in the morning. It receives what you say without resistance. Start your day with life-filled declarations, and you will set the tone for everything that follows. As you brush your teeth, as you brush your hair, as you prepare your coffee, I want you to turn those simple actions into moments of faith. When you stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself, not with shame, not with judgment, but with the eyes of heaven, and say, I radiate prosperity. Favor follows me everywhere I go. Speak until you feel the atmosphere shift in your heart. Even if your bank account is low, even if the bills are stacked high, choose faith-filled words. Remember, God calls things that are not as though they already are. You are not lying when you declare abundance, you are aligning. When you walk into your kitchen, look around and speak blessing over your home. Say, this house is filled with peace and provision. This space is expanding because I am expanding. If you live in a small apartment, do not despise it. Bless it. Your words are painting a picture of the future. When you step outside to go to work, speak over your day. Today I am led to divine connections. Today I will walk in favor. Today unexpected income flows to me. Beloved, this is not just positive thinking. This is spiritual law. Jesus himself said in Mark 11:23, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will happen, it will be done for him. Did you hear that? Whoever say wise. Not whoever worries, not whoever hopes silently, but whoever speaks. Your words are your authority in action. Mountains move when you open your mouth. I want you to go even further. When you open your wallet, speak blessing over it. When you see your bills, instead of groaning, place your hand on them and say, you are paid in full. Money flows easily to me. If you have debt, speak to it. I call you canceled in Jesus' name. These words are not empty, they are assignments. Angels hear you and move at the sound of God's word. Make this a practice whenever you put your hands to work, whether you're typing at a desk, cooking for your family, or running a business. Declare, everything I touch multiplies. I am anointed to create wealth. These daily affirmations are not just declarations, they are spiritual warfare. The enemy cannot stand against a woman who knows her authority. Some of you may feel silly doing this at first. You may even feel resistance rise up inside of you. That's because the enemy knows the power of your words. He wants you to stay silent or negative. But beloved, you must push through. Speak boldly even if your circumstances haven't shifted yet. Keep speaking until the atmosphere around you begins to change. Faith is not based on what you see. It's based on what you know to be true in God's word. I encourage you to create what I call power moments. Throughout your day, set reminders on your phone to pause and declare abundance. When you're driving to work, say, money comes to me from expected and unexpected places. When you're cooking dinner, say, my hands are blessed, and everything I create prospers. When you lay down at night, whisper, thank you, Father, that I lack nothing. I rest in abundance. These little moments create a rhythm of faith in your life. This is not about striving or trying to convince God to bless you. He has already blessed you. This is about bringing your mind, your spirit, and your words into alignment with what He has already declared over you. Your daily routine becomes your daily agreement with heaven, and when you walk in daily agreement, miracles stop being random events. They become your new normal. Beloved, if you will guard your tongue and speak life every day, you will see change. Not because the words are magic, but because words are law. The law of God never fails. Your declarations are seeds. Keep planting, keep watering, keep speaking. Soon, you will look back at your life and see a garden of abundance where there used to be weeds of fear. This is your new routine, and it will change everything. Beloved, I want you to understand something that most people miss. Your imagination is not a playground for fantasies. It is the blueprint of heaven. God has given you the gift of imagination because He created you in His image, and He Himself is a creator. In Genesis, He looked into the void and imagined light, and then He spoke, "Let there be light," and light appeared. Do you see? First came the vision, then the word, and finally, the manifestation. And so it is with you. If you cannot see yourself blessed in your spirit, you will never hold that blessing in your hands. I want to speak to every woman listening right now. You have been using your imagination, but the enemy has been twisting it. He has been using it to paint pictures of fear, failure, and lack. You imagine yourself unable to pay your bills. You imagine losing everything. You imagine worst-case scenarios over and over again. But that is not the will of God for your mind. He has called you to use your imagination as a divine womb, to birth the life He has already promised you. The Bible says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." If you want to change your reality, you must first change the pictures you hold inside. Close your eyes for a moment and see yourself not as you are now, but as God sees you. See yourself debt-free. See your home filled with peace and beauty. See your children flourishing. See your hands holding the keys to new opportunities. See your bank account overflowing, not for vanity, but for His glory. Let your imagination be filled with abundance, because your mind is the spiritual canvas on which God paints His promises. Do not dismiss this as foolish or unrealistic. Faith itself is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That means what you see with your spiritual eyes is more real than what you see with your physical eyes. Your imagination is your spiritual sight, and it is time to sanctify it. Stop letting fear write the script of your future. Start letting God's word form the pictures in your heart. When you speak your affirmations, beloved, pair them with vision. When you say, "Money flows to me," see yourself receiving checks in the mail. See yourself walking confidently into new opportunities. When you declare, "I am blessed and highly favored," picture doors opening for you without effort. Your mind is the soil, your words are the seeds, and your faith is the water. Together, they will produce a harvest. Florence Scovel Shinn always said, "Your word is your wand." But I want you to also know this: your imagination is your workshop. When you visualize yourself in abundance, you are creating a mold for spirit to fill. Spirit cannot fill a vacuum, it needs a clear image, a clear design. Just as an architect draws a plan before a builder constructs a home, your mind must draw the plan for the life you desire. Your words then enforce that blueprint, and heaven moves to make it real. Let me give you a practice that will change your life. Every night before bed, lie down and imagine your ideal life as if it is already happening. Feel the peace in your heart. Picture yourself free from fear, joyful and secure. See yourself blessing others, giving generously, walking in confidence. Let those images sink deeply into your subconscious mind, because your subconscious is like fertile soil that never argues. It simply brings forth what is planted. When you rise in the morning, speak words that match that vision. This is how you train your spirit to expect miracles. Beloved, your imagination is not a toy, it is a spiritual instrument. Use it with purpose. Do not allow fear to hijack your mind another day. When fear shows you disaster, replace it with God's promises. When doubt whispers that nothing will change, close your eyes and see your future through His eyes. He said, "I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." This is your truth. Hold on to it until it becomes your reality. And hear me, you do not need to know how it will happen. You do not need to see the steps. Your job is to see the end result and speak it. God's job is to orchestrate the details. Trust Him. Trust the law. Trust the vision He places in your heart. Do not rush. Do not doubt. Rest in the assurance that the moment you can see it and speak it, it already exists in the spiritual realm. Your imagination is the bridge between heaven's supply and your earthly experience. Protect it, guard it, feed it with truth. Let your mind become a sanctuary of abundance, not a battlefield of fear. When your vision aligns with your confession, and your confession aligns with God's word, nothing will be withheld from you. This is divine law, and it works every time. Beloved, I need you to hear this with your spirit, not just your mind. You are not at the mercy of this world's economy. You are not defined by Wall Street, your job title, your bank account, or the news headlines that scream fear and recession. No, you are a daughter of the King, and the King's economy never crashes. Heaven's supply is limitless. The Creator of the universe is not wringing His hands over inflation. He is not wondering how to provide for you. Your Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He holds the universe in his hands. And if you are his child, that means every resource you need is already accounted for. This is where the enemy tries to keep so many women trapped, by convincing you that your future depends solely on what you can see. But Scripture says, we walk by faith, not by sight. What you see with your physical eyes is not the full story. Behind every closed door, behind every bill, behind every moment of uncertainty, heaven is at work. There are angels assigned to your life. They are waiting for your command, and they are not moved by fear. They respond to faith, and faith is released through your words. Let me remind you of something powerful. Psalm 103, verse 20 says that angels hearken to the voice of his word. Not your fear, not your worry, but his word. That means every time you declare, my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory, angels are dispatched to ensure it happens. Every time you say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, the entire spiritual realm aligns itself to bring provision into your hands. You are not begging for scraps, you are enforcing a covenant. Beloved, you are not a victim of the economy, you are a citizen of heaven, and heaven's economy is based on spiritual law, not earthly fluctuation. Spiritual law says, give, and it shall be given unto you. Spiritual law says, as a man sows, so shall he reap. Spiritual law says, no good thing will he withhold from those who walk uprightly. Do you see? You are never truly in lack, because heaven has no lack. When you believe this truth, when you walk in this truth, you will stop living in survival mode and start living in supernatural supply. Think of Jesus feeding the 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish. He didn't look at the numbers and panic. He looked up to heaven, blessed what he had, and multiplied it. That same miracle working power is backing you right now. You may feel like you don't have enough, but God is not limited by your bank balance. Your job is not your source. It is only a channel. God is your source, and he has unlimited ways to provide for you. He can create opportunities you never imagined. He can open doors no man can shut. He can cause favor to fall on you in an instant, changing your entire story. But here is the key. You must stop speaking fear and start speaking faith. Stop agreeing with the world's report and start agreeing with heaven's truth. When the world says, money is hard to come by, you say, wealth and riches are in my house. When they say, there's no way out of debt, you declare, I am the head and not the tail, I am above only and not beneath. Your confession determines your reality. Heaven moves when you open your mouth and speak in alignment with God's promises. Some of you listening to me today have been waiting for someone to rescue you financially. You've been waiting for a raise, a job change, or even a miracle check in the mail. But I came to tell you that you already have the miracle inside of you. The kingdom of God is within you, and the moment you align your faith, your words, and your vision, provision will begin to flow. You are not waiting on heaven. Heaven is waiting on you to speak. Let me make this plain: your spiritual inheritance is already settled. Jesus paid for your freedom, your healing, and your provision on the cross. When he said, it is finished, he didn't just mean salvation for your soul, he meant the full redemption of your life. You are redeemed from poverty. You are redeemed from lack. You are redeemed from fear. That is your legal standing. But spiritual laws work like natural laws. They don't operate automatically. Just as you must flip a light switch for electricity to flow, you must use your words to activate the promises of God. Beloved, I want you to start seeing yourself as heaven sees you, not as a woman scraping by, but as a woman backed by the full resources of heaven. Start walking with the confidence of one who knows she is covered. You are royalty. The King of Kings is your Father. And when you walk in that truth, doors open without you pushing. Opportunities find you. Money flows to you with ease because you are no longer striving. You are flowing with divine law. So the next time fear tries to creep in when you look at your bills or when you hear bad news about the economy, speak this out loud. I am not of this world's system. I live by heaven's economy. I am supplied, I am favored, and I will never lack. Say it until it becomes your reality, because the truth is, you are already backed by heaven's unlimited supply. All that is left is for you to believe it, declare it, and walk in it. Beloved, now that you've heard this truth, it's time to do something about it. I don't want you to just nod your head or feel inspired for a few minutes. I want you to rise up and claim your inheritance. There is a spiritual principle I have taught for years: nothing happens until you speak. The kingdom of God is voice activated. Angels move when they hear faith. Provision flows when it is called by name. Favor shows up when you decree it with confidence. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Your words are not suggestions, they are law. So today, I invite you to open your mouth and decree your truth. Not the truth of the world, not the truth of your circumstances, but the truth of heaven. Say this with me, wherever you are right now, whispered if you must, but say it with faith. I am a child of the King. I am blessed, I am favored, I am rich in every way. Money flows to me from expected and unexpected places. I walk in divine wisdom, and I am led by the Spirit of God. Every bill is paid, every debt is canceled, every need is met. I am the head and not the tail. I am above only and not beneath. Doors are opening for me now. Opportunities chase me down. I am anointed to create wealth, and I use it for God's glory. I am fearless, I am faithful, and I lack nothing. Beloved, say this out loud every day until it becomes the song of your soul. Your words are powerful, and your spirit believes what it hears the most. You have spent years hearing voices of fear, voices of doubt, voices of limitation. It's time to retrain your spirit with the voice of truth. Start your mornings by declaring who you are and whose you are. Go to sleep at night with words of abundance on your lips. Even when your circumstances haven't shifted yet, speak as though they already have, because in the spiritual realm, they have. When you decree a thing, you are not begging God to move, you are enforcing His promises. The Bible says in Job 22:28, "You shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you." That means your decree is your authority in action. Your words are like royal commands, and heaven itself responds. This is not about arrogance. This is about knowing your identity. You are not a beggar at heaven's door. You are a daughter of the King, seated in heavenly places with Christ. And let me remind you of something: this is not just about money. This is about freedom. Money is a tool, and in your hands, it will bless your children, your family, your church, your community. When you walk in financial freedom, you walk in spiritual authority. The enemy wants you broke because he knows a free woman is a dangerous woman. A free woman gives boldly, dreams fearlessly, and lives fully in her calling. That is why I am challenging you today: open your mouth and take your freedom back. Beloved, imagine a world where women everywhere rise up and begin to speak life over themselves, over their homes, and over their finances. Imagine daughters no longer bound by fear, mothers no longer crying over unpaid bills, wives no longer feeling ashamed of wanting more. That is what God desires for you. That is why you are hearing this message right now. It is a divine appointment. He is inviting you to step into a new dimension of faith, a new level of abundance, and a new confidence in His promises. So let this be your decree every day. I walk in divine abundance. I am highly favored. My supply is limitless because my Father is limitless. I will never lack again, because I am a magnet for divine provision. Say it in your car. Say it in your kitchen. Say it while folding laundry or putting your children to bed. Let your home be filled with the sound of faith. And as you speak, the atmosphere around you will begin to shift. Angels will begin to move. Doors will begin to open. Opportunities will come to you effortlessly because heaven always responds to faith-filled words. This is your moment, beloved. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are not trapped in cycles of struggle. You are a powerful spirit-filled woman of God, and you have the authority to call forth everything you need. So take your stand. Open your mouth. Speak as if your Father owns the universe, because He does. Declare abundance, walk in it, and never again agree with lack. Your decree is your victory. Speak it boldly. Live it daily. Watch as heaven aligns with your words, and your life becomes a testimony of God's goodness.
What if I told you that fear is not an enemy to be fought, that it is not a monster to be slain, or a wall to be overcome? If you have ever felt the grip of anxiety around your chest, if you have ever been paralyzed by doubt, unable to make a move, if you have ever felt like you are living a life smaller than the one you were meant for, all because of a quiet, constant hum of fear, then this message is for you. And it is more than a message. It is a key. A practical map for harnessing the very energy that has held you captive and turning it into the force that sets you free. Because all of that struggle, all of that pain, is based on a profound misunderstanding. A misunderstanding of what fear truly is. What if I told you that fear is simply a servant waiting for new orders? A powerful, loyal, and unimaginably creative force that has been taking its direction from the wrong part of you. For years, for decades perhaps, it has been building worlds for you, meticulously, faithfully, worlds of worry, realities of lack, futures of loss. It has been obeying a command you didn't even know you were giving. Tonight, we are not here to fight fear. We are here to give it a new job, to reclaim it as our own, and to turn its immense power toward the life that is waiting, patiently, for you to finally believe in it. This is where your freedom begins, not in a battle, but in a quiet, deliberate shift of command. Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman who understood the architecture of the soul, said it with stunning clarity. She taught that your only enemies are within yourself, and that the two greatest of these enemies are fear and doubt. But she didn't see them as invaders. She saw them as misdirected energy, a creative force aimed at the wrong target. She wrote, "Fear and worry are faith in evil." Let that land for a moment, not in your mind, but in your body. Feel the truth of it. Fear is faith. It is a deep, unwavering, gut-level belief in a negative outcome. Doubt is the architect of that negative outcome, the one who draws the blueprints for disaster. When you worry about money, you are not just thinking a negative thought. You are entering a state of profound prayer. You are using your divine imagination, the most powerful creative tool you possess, to vividly picture empty bank accounts, to feel the panic of unpaid bills, to rehearse the conversation of asking for a loan. You are having faith in lack. And the subconscious mind, your faithful servant, hears this prayer. It feels this faith, and it says, "Yes, your wish is my command." And it begins to arrange circumstances, to filter opportunities, and to guide your actions to bring about the very thing you fear. It knows no difference between a request born of desire and a request born of fear. It only knows faith. It only responds to the image held with conviction. When you fear being abandoned in a relationship, you are not just being insecure. You are actively building a case for your own loneliness. You are using your faith to imagine the fight, the cold silence, the final goodbye. You scan for evidence. A late text becomes proof. A distracted gaze becomes a sign. You are so convinced of the eventual outcome of being left that your energy becomes dense with suspicion, heavy with need. You project the very vibration that suffocates connection. You have unwavering faith in abandonment, and so your servant, the subconscious, works tirelessly to deliver that reality to your door. This is the core teaching. This is the key that unlocks the cage. Fear is not happening to you. Fear is a creative act from you. It is inverted faith. Let's walk through this. Let's make it real. Think of the woman who dreams of starting her own business. A beautiful idea has been planted in her soul. A vision of a small shop, a consulting practice, a creative service. It feels like light. It feels like truth. But then, the doubt begins. The fear speaks. What if no one buys it? What if I fail and everyone sees? What if I invest my savings and lose everything? Now watch what happens. Doubt, the architect, gets to work. It draws the blueprint of failure, the empty storefront, the mocking headlines in a local blog, the disappointed faces of her family. Fear, the servant, takes this blueprint and begins to build. It whispers to her in the morning, making her hesitate to post on social media. It's not perfect yet, it says. It speaks to her in the afternoon, causing her to endlessly research competitors until she feels small and unoriginal. They're already doing it better, it claims. It screams at her at night, replaying images of bankruptcy and humiliation until her body is flooded with cortisol, the chemistry of crisis. She is living in the reality of her failure before she has even taken the first step. She has more faith in her collapse than in her success. She is praying with every fiber of her being for the outcome she dreads. And so, the business never launches. The dream withers on the vine, and she looks at her life and says, "See, I knew it wouldn't work." She fulfilled her own prophecy. She used the divine law of creation perfectly, in reverse. Now think of the man who is deeply afraid of illness. He feels a small twinge in his side, a momentary ache. For a person living in faith of wellness, it's a fleeting sensation. The body readjusts. It's forgotten. But for this man, a man who holds a deep, quiet faith in sickness, this twinge is a signal. Doubt, the architect, immediately draws the blueprint of disease. It pulls up files from the internet, images from medical dramas, stories of friends. It constructs a detailed picture of waiting rooms, of worried doctors, of terrifying diagnoses. And fear, the loyal servant, takes this vivid blueprint and begins to manifest it in the body. His anxiety causes his stomach to clench, which makes the twinge feel worse. He can't sleep, which weakens his immune system. He focuses on his body with such intensity, he begins to notice every tiny sensation, interpreting each one as further evidence of his impending doom. He is using the power of his mind, a power that can heal, to create the chemistry of disease. He is practicing the feeling of being sick. He has more faith in his vulnerability than in his vitality. His subconscious mind, a servant that governs the functions of the body, receives the message loud and clear. The master is focused on illness. The master believes in illness. We must align the body with this powerful belief. This is not punishment. This is law, the law of faith. Consider the realm of love and self-worth. A woman carries a core belief, a deep-seated doubt that she is not enough, not smart enough, not beautiful enough, not worthy of true, unconditional love. This is her hidden doctrine. Doubt, the architect, uses this doctrine to design a reality that proves it. It tells her that the kind, stable partner is boring. It tells her that the person who challenges her and makes her feel insecure is exciting and passionate. It designs a world where love is a game of earning, proving, and chasing, and fear, the servant, brings this world to life. When a healthy, loving person shows interest, her fear says, it's a trick. He doesn't see the real you yet. When he does, he'll leave. And so, she sabotages it. She pulls away. She finds fault. She pushes love away to protect herself from the inevitable abandonment she has such profound faith in. Instead, she is drawn, as if by a magnetic force, to partners who confirm her belief. The emotionally unavailable one, the critical one, the one who needs fixing. Because in that dynamic, her doubt feels at home. Her fear is validated. She spends her energy trying to prove her worth to someone who will never grant it, fulfilling the prophecy she wrote for herself long ago. I am not enough. She has used the law with flawless precision. She has held a clear image of her own unworthiness, and her subconscious mind has moved heaven and earth to make her outer world a perfect mirror of her inner conviction. Do you see it now? Do you feel the shift in this understanding? This is the moment of empowerment. The moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim of fear and you start seeing yourself as the master who has been giving it orders. You are not broken. You have not failed. You have been using a divine, immutable law perfectly. You have been a powerful creator, a master sculptor, an obedient follower of your own deepest beliefs. You have been shaping reality with the energy of fear. You have been watering the weeds of doubt with the rain of your attention. And the reason this is the best news you could possibly hear is because if you have the power to create a reality from fear, you have the exact same power to create a reality from faith. It is the same switch. It is the same current. It is the same creative muscle. All that is required now is a conscious decision to change the direction of your power. You are not learning a new skill. You are simply remembering your divine authority. So, how do we do this? How do we make this practical, tangible, and real in our daily lives? We begin with simple, sacred steps. We don't try to fight the ocean of old programming. We simply introduce a new current. Here is your practice. 3 sacred steps to reclaim your power from fear and doubt. The first step, the sacred neutralization. When a fear thought arises, and it will, that is its habit, do not fight it. Do not wrestle with it. Do not shame yourself for having it. Fighting it gives it more energy. It's like trying to push a boulder uphill. Instead, you neutralize it with a declaration of truth. You see the thought, I'm never going to have enough money. You acknowledge it without panic. You see it for what it is, an old blueprint, an echo from a past command. And then you speak, out loud if you can, a statement of higher law. Florence would say to speak the word. You say with quiet authority, that is not the divine truth for me. I deny the appearance of lack. My God is my supply. And that supply is infinite and immediate. You see the thought, he's going to leave me. You acknowledge it. You see the old architect of doubt at the drawing board, and you neutralize it. That is a lie from the race mind of fear. I deny its power. My life is governed by divine love. I am harmony, I am loved, and I am secure. You feel the fear of illness. You neutralize it. I deny the authority of this sensation. Every cell of my body is an idea of perfect health in the divine mind, and I now register that perfection. I am whole. I am well. I am vibrant. You are not arguing with the fear. You are canceling the order. You are a queen, calmly telling a servant, no, we will not be having that for dinner. The menu has changed. You do this every single time the fear appears, calmly, firmly. You are overriding the old signal with a new, clearer one. The second step, the active imprint. After you have neutralized the old command, you must issue a new one. Nature abhors a vacuum. Your imagination will create something. So you must consciously give it the new blueprint. This is what Florence called imaging. It is the deliberate, joyful act of picturing your desired reality as if it were already true. If your fear is lack, you will take 5 minutes to close your eyes and actively imprint the feeling of abundance. Don't just think, I want more money. That is a prayer of lack. Instead, feel the reality of having it. Imagine opening your banking app and seeing a number that brings you a feeling of deep peace and security. Imagine the joy of paying your bills early. Imagine the freedom of buying a gift for someone you love without a second thought. Feel the gratitude. Feel the relief. Feel it in your body. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not to words alone. You are giving your servant a new, beautiful blueprint to work from. If your fear is loneliness, you will actively imprint the feeling of secure, loving connection. Imagine sitting with a partner, not saying a word, and feeling completely safe. Imagine laughing together, your hand in theirs. Feel the warmth. Feel the trust. Feel the profound peace of being fully seen and accepted. You are not picturing a specific person's face. You are imprinting the feeling state of divine love made manifest. You are building the energetic container for that love to pour into. If your fear is failure, you will actively imprint the feeling of success. Imagine receiving the email that says yes. Imagine seeing the praise for your work. Imagine the feeling of pride and accomplishment, the deep inner knowing that you did it. Feel the satisfaction. Feel the flow. You are using your faith for yourself instead of against yourself. You are praying for what you desire, with the same conviction you once used to pray for what you dreaded. The third step, the grateful release. Once you have neutralized the fear and imprinted the new reality, you must let it go. This is perhaps the most crucial step. You must release it to the infinite intelligence that knows how to bring it into form. You have placed your order with the universe. You do not stand by the kitchen door, tapping your foot and worrying if the chef got the order. That is doubt. That cancels the request. You place your order, and you go about your day in happy expectation, knowing it is being prepared for you. This is faith in action. You act as if your prayer has already been answered. How do you do this? Through gratitude. You say, "Thank you, Father, that my supply is here. Thank you that my perfect health is manifest. Thank you that my heart is whole." You give thanks in advance. This is the ultimate statement of trust. It seals your new reality. It tells your subconscious mind, the deal is done. It is finished. So, the daily practice is simple. Neutralize, see the fear, and calmly declare the higher truth. Imprint, feel the reality of your desire as if it's already here. Release, give thanks, and let it go, acting as if it is done. Here are a few affirmations written in the language of this law to carry with you. Speak them with authority. They are not wishes. They are decrees. I cast this burden of fear and doubt on the Christ within, and I go free. My mind, body, and affairs are now governed by divine faith, and all things are possible. I am undisturbed by appearances, for I walk by the law of faith, not by sight. Divine intelligence is now dissolving every obstacle and clearing my perfect path to success and joy. The light of my own consciousness casts out all darkness. I am fearless and powerful, for I know that I and the Father are one. My word is law unto my world. Now, a word of gentle encouragement for the journey. When you first begin this practice, you may feel a resistance. The outer world may not change overnight. In fact, sometimes things can seem to get a little shaky. The old fears might roar louder for a moment. Doubt may come back with what feels like overwhelming evidence. Do not be discouraged. This is a powerful sign of success. Imagine you have been living in a house wired for dim, flickering lights. Your life has been lit by the 20-watt bulbs of fear. Now you've decided to rewire the entire house for brilliant, steady, joyful light. When the divine electrician begins to work, the old wires have to be pulled out, the circuits have to be flipped. For a moment, there might be a flicker. There might even be a moment of darkness as the old current is shut off before the new one is switched on. That turbulence is not a sign of failure. It is the sign of rewiring. It is the evidence that your new command has been heard. Think of it like clearing a neglected garden. For years, the weeds of fear and doubt have grown thick. Now you have decided to plant a garden of faith and abundance. The first step is to pull the old weeds. This disturbs the soil. It looks messy. It looks chaotic. It doesn't look like a beautiful garden yet. It looks like a construction site. The mess is proof that the work is being done. You must keep clearing the soil, neutralizing fear, and planting the new seeds, imprinting faith, knowing that the harvest is inevitable. Do not judge the success of your inner work by the immediate outer picture. The outer world is an echo of past beliefs. It takes a little time for the new sound of your faith to travel and return to you as a new echo. Trust the turn. A great ship on the ocean does not pivot instantly. When the captain turns the wheel, the vessel groans. It resists. It slowly, powerfully begins to arc into its new direction. That initial resistance is the proof that the turn has begun, so be gentle with yourself. Stay in the quiet conviction of your practice. This is not a battle. It is a remembrance. You are not broken. You were never flawed. You are not being punished. You are simply a powerful creator who is remembering the truth of her power. You were a queen who had forgotten the authority in her own voice, an artist told to paint her world with only the colors of fear and doubt. Today, you reclaim your throne and the entire palette, the vibrant reds of courage, the brilliant yellows of joy, the deep blues of peace, and the glowing golds of abundance. The choice was always yours. The power was always within you. And so today, I invite you to make a new law for your life, a new declaration. In the comments below, I invite you to make this your truth, to write it, to declare it, to anchor it in this moment. Declare, I am now free from the law of fear and doubt. Speak it into the world. And as you move forward from this space, carry this one final question with you. Let it settle into your heart. What is the very first thing you will do or think or feel? Now that you know your faith and not your fear is the law of your life. Begin with that, and let the new law begin now.